Curtis Blanchard.
Starting on time here on this Wednesday. New day around here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome in. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet as always. Check them out online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Katie is here. Lloyd is here. Stewie is here. Bree is here. We got a show. We got a jam-packed show for you. Jacques Doucet is going to be through here at in the 7 o'clock hour talking about what he's got coming up for Red Rock and Blue. Again, another summer, Red Rock and Blue. Incredible what this has become for our city and just a staple as far as philanthropy and fundraising goes around Baton Rouge. Jacques will be here around 7:30 this morning. We're going to talk to Ross Dellenger at 7:45 this morning about all the shakeup in college athletics with conferences and UCLA and USC joining the Big Ten. So much to catch up on. Hopefully you caught yesterday's sit down with Jamar Cain, who has just been on a heater. I mean, my guy, man, is cleaning up in recruiting. A lot of you out there were melting down about recruiting. I don't know who you were. We sure weren't.
over here.
Yeah, right. I don't know if you were looking over here. We were sure pumping the positivity around recruiting on the Jordy Culotta Show. But LSU is on a heater. They actually picked up a commitment yesterday from a 2024 prospect as they flipped a in-state kid, Xavier Atkins, out of Jonesboro. We'll get to all of that. But at 8 a.m. this morning, Scott Woodward is going to come through here in studio and sit down with us. And there is a lot to talk to with the athletics director from LSU. Obviously, all the changes that are happening on LSU's campus as far as new head coaches and new spots. I can't wait to talk to him about Wes Johnson, the pitching coach, and kind of the reaction that has caused around the baseball world and what it says about, LSU baseball. Not that you needed any clarification about where LSU baseball stood, in the grand scheme of the sport, but just a very powerful move for LSU baseball to go pick up on or grab a Major League Baseball pitching coach off of a first place team. So tons to get to here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We're looking forward to it. Hopefully everybody had a good 4th of July weekend. As we had a extended holiday.
We did. It was so lovely.
Here on the
to have that extra day
on the show.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a work day.
That's right.
It was a work day.
But now look at us.
Tuesday.
Everything looks so good. That camera's so damn clear. I can see like the tops of your arm hairs.
Ish.
That's a good thing. I'm just saying it's very clear. I mean, look at it.
No, it is. It looks great.
For high def.
Shout out to our guy Joey Rodriguez, who has been working throughout the night to get us set up. But it is new stuff coming in over here, new equipment. We're kind of redesigning this room and this set. I don't know, Stu, if you can probably do a 360 with this camera. Can we do that? I don't mean to put you on the spot. But a lot of new things happening here in the studio with just
how
expansion.
We go.
Yeah.
Flip it.
There you go. A little 360-degree view
It's
for
so
it.
clean now.
Look how
It
clean.
does. No
cords
wires on the
floor.
ground.
I can't believe it.
That's all we wanted.
Yeah.
Katie was really pushing for this. Those wires
God,
really caused a big fuss.
Only for a year.
No big
I've been
deal.
pushing for this.
Year and 8 months.
Mikey will have his own studio that we are developing right now as well. So hopefully Mikey has a new look. I don't know if he'd be ready for tonight. As Mikey will come to you at 6
Take
o'clock
one
this
victory
afternoon.
at a time, you know?
Yeah, right. right.
ask Joe.
But
Yeah.
it would be awesome if it would.
It would be really cool if it was.
It would be awesome if it could be, for sure.
Let's see if we can kill him. You don't need to sleep, dude. You're good.
Crazy stories over the 4th. Wild, man. I mean, just over the weekend. We talked about LSU recruiting. Defensive line coach, obviously, Jamar Cain was here yesterday. Hopefully you checked that conversation out.
You're talking about UFOs.
We'll get there for sure. But, I mean, everybody knows my stance on UFOs. I'm all in. I've been a believer. Mm-hmm. So when they do touch down and they come shock the world, I think that I will be one that's kind of brought through.
Oh, you're chosen.
You know what I mean? Absolutely, absolutely. Not chosen, but just, hey, he's been a believer the whole time. We've been watching his world. He's in. Come on in. You've got the VIP pass. Let's go. You got a +1 with you. Yep. Kelly can roll with us. Let's go, man. Jump on the spaceship. Let's get out of here.
He loves to smoke our lettuce.
Yes, I do. Blueberry Cushy boys have been sending over. Have been fantastic.
Oh my my gosh.
Moon
Huge advocate for the UFOs and the aliens.
You're putting it out there.
And always have
in case
been.
they're listening.
Let the let the record state and show, E.T., that I have been a fan since day one. As UFOs, is there another story that's out there right now?
Well, they had some videos surface on Twitter last night that were like, it was from space, and you could see the object go across the camera
it was from
view,
space.
and then you could see it like kind of orbit a couple minutes.
Small dot.
Yeah,
Oh.
small dot.
But it's going extremely fast,
right.
allegedly.
Wait, so
Somebody
that's
was,
from a
I
satellite?
mean, I'm past the small dots.
Well, that's what I said.
I'm past the Pac-Man stuff.
Well, how else do you see it?
Go
What else do you
find the
see?
story in Clinton, Louisiana that happened a year ago when it crashed down in the woods, and they went back there and there was nothing to be found. Everybody thought a plane crashed. Then they went back in the woods and there was no plane.
We talked about that.
But there was
last year.
burn-up forest. There was obviously something that had crashed down.
A drone.
Nobody
A
had
large
found
drone.
anything. And, I mean, the site was, like, cleared. It sure wasn't a plane. I mean, that would be a hell of a drone, Katie.
Well, I mean,
know
Brian
what I mean?
has a drone that's the size of a coffee table.
Yeah,
he
but
said.
it's not gonna catch fire and explode in the
Why
middle of the
not?
woods. It's not gonna sound like an airplane. I mean, if it hit, you wouldn't mistake it for an airplane. You would have been like, oh, what was that? Let's go outside. Oh, it was a drone. You know what I mean? If you go outside, you mistakenly thought something was a plane crash, and then you step out there and there's no metal, there's no straps of any. There's nothing that's saying that there was a crash there.
But it's a bunch of trees are
It was
knocked down.
aliens. It was
Yes.
ET. They crashed down. They had
I
to pick
have
up their
have
stuff and
proof.
get out of there.
I have to have actual proof.
They said on the
Before I believe.
website when somebody wrote about this, it was in 2021, they said, on a positive note, no one was injured and the event served as a valuable training exercise.
Is this
That is,
Clinton?
dude, valuable
Is this
training
Clinton?
exercise, yes.
I'm telling you,
Training
man.
for what?
Exactly. Every
Exactly.
time
It's
something
code-
with aliens
it's code
happens,
for
yeah,
aliens.
yes,
Training
no
for
doubt.
what?
Training
though?
exercise is code for alien,
Yeah.
for sure.
What? Y'all are
Absolutely.
crazy.
100%. Every
Watch a
time.
movie.
Yeah, watch any
That's
movie.
the first thing they go to as a training exercise.
Okay.
That went wrong.
Oh, then if the movie said it, then
They've
watch
been hovering
Independence
for a
Day?
long
Long
time.
time. And that's
I mean,
what I
just
said.
2022. I mean, we're just starting to recognize this, I mean, they're starting to recognize this, like, at the Capitol,
yeah, I
within,
know.
like,
I've seen
Congress
this stuff,
and,
yeah. But I need to
like,
see
they're
an
talking
alien.
about it
Give me
openly
the proof.
on the floor.
Show
What do you
me-
mean you need
Show
proof?
me the UFO.
Katie.
Show me the
Katie.
life form.
Katie, I can't.
Look,
I-
man.
Well,
I
that's
can't
just
give
how
you
I
that.
operate. I need proof to
But
believe. I'm
they
sorry.
exist. They're there.
But I wish that it's time for them to shit or get
They-
off the
they
pot.
there.
Because
I'm
they're
not-
flirting
okay.
with this now. Like they're like little glimpses, just enough. Just come on down.
Show me something.
Andrew
down.
Messina says, I
Yeah.
want to believe. Come to the dark side, Andrew. I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
I would
man.
like it to be
We're
true.
waiting on the party, bro. I'm telling you. It's going to be awesome once they come in here and pick us up.
Well, according to you, it's just you they're picking up.
No, I believe that there's more
We're
out
left
there.
behind.
Well, y'all sure are going
Oh
to be.
no, I'm going. I'm in.
You're like
Okay.
hanging on
Absolutely.
underneath
Team ET.
Yeah,
as it takes off.
Absolutely, bro. Shotgun. I call it shotgun
Yeah,
in the
we're
UFO.
good. I'll get the probe.
I mean, I want the view, man. Do that stuff where y'all can go side to side, man. The stuff that y'all were doing on the, you know what I mean?
See if it makes me throw up.
yeah, let's do this thing, man.
Like the Gravitron at the fair.
Yes.
Climb up the walls. Y'all remember that ride?
Yeah,
That's exactly
That's
what
what
I
it
think a
is.
UFO is.
I'm out. I'm tapping out.
You don't do
Don't
the
go that
Gravitron?
fast.
The teacup?
No, the Gravitron that you
Oh.
get, or the Space 2000, I think it's called. You get inside, and the gravity of spinning makes you be able to
Okay,
crawl
I
up
would
the
love that.
walls. You've
The
never been in
the
there?
teacup's the worst one.
Yeah, the teacups are tough. You
They're
don't climb
brutal.
up the teacups.
The Gravitron's rough, bro.
But you know, you could turn upside down in it and just stick to the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the one that goes
You
super
remember?
fast. That it's been.
It was
I
called the
remember
Gravitron
that.
in the
Yeah.
80s, but now it's called like Space 2000.
Golly, that looks like the 80s.
Yeah, it
That looks like an
totally
80s
is.
ride.
You go in and there's like a DJ in the middle of it,
Yeah.
and they're just standing there
They had
blasting
that. They had that on Stranger Things.
Yes, that's right.
Season 3?
Yeah,
It's
season
awesome.
4.
Season 4?
Yeah.
I heard they're just whacking people in season
Coach.
4.
Oh
Yeah, they
man,
are.
there's arms and legs everywhere.
Yeah, it's just
it's
limbs.
brutal. My mom had to exercise herself.
I let the kids watch it over the weekend.
Yeah, it's a what's a
Mine
kid
have
show.
watched it too.
Yeah.
It is a kid
it's
show.
not as rough. For them as it
I
is
caught
for
some
me.
glaring looks in the city streets of Austin because I had two 11-year-olds riding city bikes without helmets on. Them,
Oh.
you know, so, yeah,
Oh,
right.
God.
Was I mean, is
They're
that
gonna hurt
that bad of
themselves.
a? Was that bad of a sin? Is that a parenting
Without helmets,
sin?
yeah.
No.
Is it?
Yeah.
If you,
I mean, you hit your head and it.
No
you know,
doubt.
oh well, grow
It
up.
can
I
be
mean,
over.
that's
No doubt.
that's a bump you have
No
to
doubt.
take. That's part of
What?
growing up.
I
That's
was
part of
about
being
to
a
say.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
you
I
don't-
was
You're a
stressing a
parent.
little
What
bit.
are
I
you
was
shaking
stressing
your
a little
head?
bit post vacation.
I mean, I'm not putting my son on a bike with a helmet.
I'm
So
not riding a
if he
bike with the
can't
helmet
ride
on.
it
I would be like
without
that.
the
You know how
helmet,
lame this looks?
He doesn't need
And he'd be
Well,
like,
it's
yeah.
like skiing. Like you didn't used to ski with helmets, but now you have to.
Oh, I still don't.
And if your kid's skiing without a helmet, that's insane.
golly, I guess it is the same thing, and I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that.
No, I think skiing is a little bit more dangerous, but you also don't.
Yeah,
I don't think
skiing
you wear a
is.
helmet doing that either.
Yes, you do.
You just gotta take your lumps.
Everyone is wearing a helmet.
See,
No, I see people wearing, like, hats.
Yeah, I mean adults, but all kids wear helmets. I mean, I think
What's
it's like
the threshold?
law
How old
there,
you-
or some
18?
Kind of rule.
So bad parenting over the weekend?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't think
how
so.
fast
It's
we all
not-
going
it's
on
not like
the
y'all were-
scooter.
it wasn't-
Yeah,
it's not the
it's a
Tour de France.
scooter. It's not. I mean,
That
well,
was
all
a
you,
bike. We moved to the bike.
You're like, it wasn't just a
Yeah,
scooter.
it was just a scooter.
It was a
If
bike.
anybody
Then it
should
was
be
a
wearing a helmet, it
motorcycle.
would be him. He's the one that took the dive.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, tough.
Live to tell another day.
You
No
see,
helmets.
you're
We're good,
fine.
boys. Hop on.
Exactly, hop
Yeah.
on.
But I mean, y'all aren't like doing a marathon on a bike, right? You're just kind of like cruising through the city,
Yeah.
and stopping and going and stuff,
Sidewalks,
so-
or is it like
Sidewalk, city streets, though. A couple of, a couple of
Sketchy.
crosswalks that were a little shady. Y'all two stay on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, at least you did
Don't
that.
get hit by a car.
I mean, they did fall off the bike, both of them, twice.
But did they hit their head?
They didn't hit their heads.
Okay, there
Okay.
you go.
Bounced back up, got right back on.
Was it like a Joe Biden fall off? Or just...
No, it was not. I mean, Biden's fall was old.
that was the slowest
Like,
bike
I mean, it
fall
was
I've ever
just
seen.
like, yes. I mean, that was an old man fall. I mean, these
It
were like
was.
two kids. One of them, Jay's little buddy, LJ, who's just a supreme athlete. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, just a little dog. He was coming down, like we were coming down this hill. We were in Austin. By the way, Austin's a great town. Great getaway.
Never
Katie,
been.
I can't believe you've
Austin
never
I
been.
know, I
The
got
upside
Lloyd, have you
down.
been? Yeah, you've been.
I've never been
Yeah,
to
Oh,
I'm saying
yeah.
Lloyd has Austin vibes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Keep Austin weird.
Yeah. What is it? 6th Street?
Keep
Sixth
Lloyd
Street.
weird.
Yeah, we went
I
to.
think that's it's kind of been played out now.
Yeah, I think it's a little overrated now.
Yeah.
What
We
happens on
did.
6th Street?
It's kind of their Bourbon Street.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like bars and
Yeah.
it's very touristy.
Yeah.
I saw, when I went when I was like 12 or 13, I saw a lady just had like an 8-foot Burmese python wrapped around her walking
Sure.
down the street. I'm like,
Absolutely.
Austin is a little different here.
We went to
That's
Barton
okay.
Springs. We went to the creek on July 4th
Oh, that's
on
a great
Sunday.
spot, yes.
As soon as we walk in, I mean, there's people everywhere,
Everywhere.
right? I mean, people are kind of laying on the hill. A lot of people like doing their own thing. Very liberal city.
Yeah.
Right? As soon as we get there, I mean, front and center, some chick topless right in the pool.
Really?
LJ goes, man, she's weird. and
You think that for about 6 more months.
And Jordan's like, what do you mean? And he's like, the chick in the middle of the pool. And me and Kelly are like, Jesus Christ. I mean, as soon as we walk in, bro, no helmets on the kids, topless chicks at the pool. You know what I mean?
It's a great
LJ,
vacation.
Don't tell your parents about the vacation, LJ.
LJ's not coming over anymore.
Right. But it was a great trip. The one thing that Austin has figured out is the way to travel around the city. Like, I mean, these community bikes, which, by the way, which was my deepest expense on the trip. I mean, I feel like I should buy stock in the Lime bike service.
Were they like city bikes? Was like that brand?
Yeah, I mean, like they're all docked up all over the city, and I mean, it's very easy. You just like scan the QR code, and I mean, next thing you know, you're on these bikes, and you're able to, you're able to see everything. Like, I mean, like the first day we took them to the University of Texas, like walked around the campus. Around that area is a lot of cool stuff. So we kind of saw that part of the city.
Was Arch there?
No Arch.
Was
no
Bevo
no
there?
signing of Arch. Huh?
Bevo?
Didn't see Bevo. Then, like went and saw like South Congress, which is kind of like another like magazine street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of old historic Austin stuff. Then went to Lake Travis. We didn't ride our bikes to Lake Travis, but I mean, the point is, I know Baton Rouge for a while was on like the same trajectory, or at least Baton Rouge thought they were on the same trajectory as Austin.
That sounds more right.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I remember in the early 2000s or late 90s, they put together the Austin Six in Baton Rouge, where like they sent 6 people over to Austin to like study the infrastructure and
Are you serious?
yeah.
And they just
like,
didn't
tried
come
to-
back.
And they like tried to like bring back, like kind of like they were trying to like kind of follow the growth
Oh, wow.
of Austin.
But it didn't work.
Did not work. Obviously,
Okay.
did not work.
Weird.
And one thing I think that Baton Rouge missed out on in trying to bring it up to speed was the ability to like just like hop on a bike and go like see the whole city, like go
Yeah.
from LSU to downtown.
Yeah.
And I know that there's like the bike, they have the bike path, but I mean like there's no, I mean like everywhere you look in Austin, there's scooters or bikes that you can pick up.
Nashville's the exact same way.
Nashville's the same way.
LA was
We
kinda
did
like that,
Nashville over for Easter, and it was exactly like that. I mean, we biked around everywhere, and it makes the experience from a traveling standpoint, very different in the sense of you don't feel like you miss out on anything. Like it feels like you see. I don't know what the destination of Baton Rouge is, but I mean I know people come down here to see parts of the South that is historic, and to be able to just jump on a scooter or a bike and go see everything from
Mike the Tiger to
right, to historic homes or historic sites that are on national treasures now, whatever it may be, in Baton Rouge. I mean, it just made that a very different trip. And with kids there, I mean, they loved it.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, like they loved the action of it, being outside. I mean, they weren't. We spent some time like in the hotel pool, but I mean, like for the most part, we were out. I mean, it was almost like you need a vacation from the vacation.
Oh yeah, you're doing too much.
Yeah, I mean, like we were just
So you felt
constant
safe
on the go,
to
right?
be out there.
Huh?
You felt safe being out there.
I did, and like people in Austin could tell. Like we told them where we were staying. We were staying near downtown. People were asking like, "Oh, do you feel safe?" Like some of the locals, and I was like, "Yeah." I mean, like we were like riding bikes at night, man.
We're
Like,
dodging bullets at home. We feel very
What do you
safe
mean?
here.
I mean, have you been to Baton Rouge or New Orleans? I mean, but it seems like the same thing that is plaguing this town
Oh, really?
is even like plaguing the people of Austin. Of I mean, 6th Street's getting run
Yeah.
over a little bit with crime and outsiders that are kind of moving in.
I guess it's every town.
Yeah, it is everywhere. Put it on the poll. Good question, Stewie.
I think most
Stewie,
people are
don't take
voting
credit
no
for that.
helmet.
I know,
Southern
very
Eye
well.
Center of Baton Rouge. Remember our friends over at Southern Eye Center. You can catch them there on Jefferson Highway. And if you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, they'll take 25% off of a great selection of sunglasses that they have in stock. While we were away, news was everywhere, right? I mean, it was
Joey
Texas
Chestnut.
A&M with the recruiting visit. And one of their coordinators talking about the boosters sitting up in the suites are going to pay you guys a lot of money once you get here.
That was awesome.
That backfired on
Like-
Jimbo's press conference a couple of weeks back.
God, dude, there's no way they're supposed to have audio of that, right? Like,
No way.
That guy
No.
thought he was in a safe place
Yes.
to be able to say that.
Well, it
Clearly.
shows you kind of today's recruiting trips. We saw this a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about it with Coach Kane yesterday off the air, where it was Marquis Wilson, big offensive lineman out of South Carolina. Check me on that, Jamil. I think it was Marquis Wilson was his name, but a big South Carolina offensive lineman came down on an official visit to Baton Rouge a couple of weeks ago, and his dad started rolling camera like the morning that they woke up in South Carolina to catch the plane, landing in
wow.
Baton Rouge, picking them up, getting to the hotel. I mean, when they got to the official visiting hotel, which was the Lod Cook Hotel on campus, there was a box of Raisin Canes waiting on them that was hot with a letter, like they showed the bed with all the gear laid out for them and all the stuff. I mean,
So the dad was filming the whole thing?
the dad's
That's
filming the whole
cool.
time, and like the big recruit's got he's got a younger brother, and like they've got stuff personalized for the younger brother,
Aw.
personalized for the mom, personalized for the dad. So I mean, and like it didn't stop there. I mean, like they went to the Friday night stuff in Tiger Stadium. They went to the Saturday morning breakfast. They went to Brian Kelly's house
At a pool party.
on Saturday. You had a pool party,
wanna
and
do
then
all this.
out of nowhere, like the video is now like vanished. Like you can't find it on
YouTube anymore.
yeah, it's not on
It
YouTube
was
anymore.
Too behind the scenes.
It absolutely
Well,
was
it-
way too
it was
much.
everything. It was 2
behind the
hours
scenes.
of
Wait,
like.
was he videoing at Brian Kelly's house?
Yes.
Yes.
And that was on there?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He just had his,
Absolutely.
He just had
Jamil,
his
did
phone
you
out the
find that?
entire time.
Yeah.
It's Marquis something. He's a big offensive lineman from South Carolina.
Wow.
Who was down here? But
I'd be
yes,
like
I
a
mean it
drop in research.
absolutely
Oh, Maurice
was.
Williams.
It was what was it?
Maurice Williams.
Maurice Williams. But it absolutely was like, I mean, they were showing you how the bacon was being made. You know what I mean? Like they were showing you like they caught Coach Kane walking up on him at breakfast, and like he's talking to the dad, and I don't know if the dad's like not trying to show. I mean, people had to see the camera because a
Yeah.
lot of the angles of it. But the conversation he's having with Coach Kane, like the phone is like kind of down by his side.
Oh, that's
You know
weird.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, "What's up, Coach?" Like, I mean, there's nothing shady's being
No,
said,
Coach
but I
Kane
mean,
probably didn't realize he was being
right?
recorded.
I mean, it's just a conversation that you're unaware you're being
Yeah.
recorded on, right? I mean, so it was very accessible. You know what I mean? Like it showed you a lot. So this type of stuff, on the A&M visit, I don't think has to surprise college recruiters, but I think you definitely have to be now so much more aware of it. Or I think LSU has now since instituted a policy where no phones on official visits, or there are certain parts of the official visit that are you can't be rolling any footage on. You can, do the stuff in the hotel room when you get there and show the gear and show the Canes box that's being left there for you. You can probably even show your trip into the locker room. You could probably show your first time opening up the chute and walking out into Tiger Stadium and seeing it for the first time. One of the big things is to kind of getting dressed up in the gear and having a photo shoot. You can put that stuff out into the public. The private conversations and some of the visits,
to Kelly's house.
like the visit to Kelly's house, or like phone or car rides with coaches to certain spots. Like from the stadium to the facility. And like kind of rolling the car, like you're sitting in the back seat, and the coach is driving and the players in the front seat, and dad and mom and younger brother in the back seat, and dad's, going live on IG, you know what I mean? While Brad Davis is telling, kind of this guy, like what our plans are for you, what your vision is for you.
You get half now and half.
Right. I mean, the stuff that you don't want to give them all access.
Must have worked. The kid's committed.
Huh?
Maurice Williams is committed to LSU.
Offensive lineman?
He's a DB from
Texas. This kid is an offensive lineman from South Carolina.
Wait, Maurice Williams is a
DB,
Texas safety.
Texas safety.
Yeah.
So who are we talking about then?
An offensive lineman from South Carolina is the guy that I'm talking about.
Who the hell is this guy?
I don't know his
This
name.
sounds like Jordy Clinton stories. The kid has been scrubbed. You can't find any news on it.
Well, I mean,
It's a training exercise.
They have washed it from the internet, like the
I
video.
can't see the video at all.
You can't see it on YouTube.
Oh man, they could have at least taken the audio out of it and just had like different clips of like the day. I guess he could have done it a different way, and just dubbed over it with music or something.
I think it's at that point. It's a lot of work. It's cooked.
Huh?
Nothing. Yeah.
So it's cooked.
Yeah.
You can't do that. It's
telling
cooked.
you.
Is it Marquis Anderson?
That's it.
Okay.
Marquis Anderson.
Yeah. From Roebuck, South Carolina.
That's him.
Okay.
His dad came down here.
Mr.
It
Anderson.
did. Showed the ball. Showed
Gave
everything.
you a behind the scenes view of what recruiting looks like, on an official visit. And Coach Kane and I left the interview yesterday, went to lunch at Phil's Oyster Bar. Shout out to Anthony and the crew.
Yes.
Got some char-grilled oysters. They were fantastic. And Scott Woodward sitting at the bar with two boosters. And the first thing that Woodward says to Kane as he's introducing them to two of the biggest supporters of LSU athletics is he's kind of like patting Jamar Kane on the chest, talking about his recruiting weekend and how big of a recruiting guy he is. And as Kane and I sat down and we're talking, just a little bit about recruiting, he was talking about how much Woodward loves that part of just the program, of just the process of the recruiting board, about how he knows so much about players and asks, individual coaches about, certain guys and where they stand with stuff. So I'm looking forward to talking to, Scott Woodward
all that.
You caught that one.
at 8 a.m. this morning about, that part of it, about recruiting and, just about how that has changed over the last couple of years and where he sees kind of that going into in this NIL world and expanding conferences, super conferences,
Jeez,
right?
how it's changed.
It's crazy. And, you think about 2 years ago to right now.
It's completely different.
And then you think 2 years from now, what it potentially can look like. And, it's crazy to think how different it could possibly be. And a guy like Woodward is in the back room of these power meetings that are happening with these discussions on what could be next for college football, because people are kind of waiting on the SEC and Greg Sankey to speak on this. They've kind of been, the governor on this, kind of the standard setter of kind of follow the leader. You see what the Big Ten is doing after, the SEC puts Oklahoma and Texas in their conference. They reach out and put USC and UCLA, into their conference, and there's much more discussions on how that expands. So really looking forward to our conversation with Woody coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning. Remember, daily we're brought to you by Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Number one and the number two business. They specialize in all works of plumbing. That's industrial, commercial, residential. They employ 30-year veterans and the young and future up-and-comers of the plumbing industry, which means they got experienced carpenters and plumbers on staff. So if you're curious about your next industrial or commercial or residential remodel, Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works can help you out. If you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you'll save yourself 15% of the bottom line. No matter what the service is, you mention the show, you'll save over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. 225-776-2431 is the phone number. 225-776-2431 is the phone number to get in touch with Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Tell them you heard the Jordy Culotta Show, you'll save 15%. Jacques just walked in. We will talk to him about Red Rock and Blue. We'll also get his thoughts on the last couple of days of recruiting for LSU. Zion Williamson inked his big deal while we were away over the weekend. He's locked into New Orleans for the next 5 years. We'll talk to you a little bit about the breakdown of that contract in the second hour. Resembles a lot of Joel Embiid's, where it's the max contract, $190 million of it guaranteed, potentially $240 million contract. He's got to stay healthy, still has to be on the floor, so it's a win-win for both sides. We'll talk about the advantages for the Pelicans on inking long-term Zion Williamson. We'll mention that to Jacques when he comes up here in a couple of minutes here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. We'll be right back.
It's Marquis Anderson. I just found it. I found the video.
All right, personal testimony from my trip over to Johnson and Spillers. Shout out to my friend Dr. Chad Spillers for taking care of me, man. I had to have my front tooth, a tooth implanted. My front tooth, and it was a hell of an ordeal, but Dr. Spillers and the crew from Johnson and Spillers made it as easy and seamless as possible to work with and have taken the final product, and it is absolutely beautiful. Learn more online at johnsonspillers.com. Whether you're looking for Botox or you need help in any type of dentistry, whether it is dentures, night guards, if you're looking for Invisalign, if you're interested in implant dentistry like I got, you can get in touch with Johnson and Spillers. Online, johnsonspillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easiest way to get them, online at johnsonspillers.com. All right, welcome back in here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live on this Wednesday. Stick around. We'll be joined by Athletics Director Scott Woodward of LSU coming up here on the show before we get out of the 7 o'clock hour. Actually, he just texted and said he's on his way. Jacques Doucet is one of our favorites, obviously from over at WAFB'S, the face of that sports section, along with Steve Schneider, who's been over there forever. And Jacques is coming up SEC Media Days. He'll be covering that for WAFB. But also coming up is Red Rock and Blue, one of my favorite events in this city, something that has become a staple of our hometown, of my hometown in Baton Rouge. Obviously, Jacques originated this over in Lafayette and brought it over. And to see that it is what it has become, I know we talk about this every year, but to see it going on for another year and another the support and all that goes into it, all the hard work, is really awesome to see another year and another July coming up. And we're talking Red Rock and Blue, and Jacques in studio with us here this morning. JD, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, bro. It's amazing, man. I know that you and I have talked about this a lot, but 1994, to see the monster that this has become, and I guess, the staple of the city. I mean, I don't think that people would go through the summer without, getting some type of knowledge about Red Rock and Blue, experiencing Red Rock and Blue. From your point of view, just what is this thing?
Well, I'm kind of Peter Pan. I refuse to grow up to an extent. And I like to throw fun events. I like to see people have fun. And we were just able to do these things and channel them into a charity fundraiser. My good friend Taylor Begnaud, who served in the Army the first time, I guess, in the early 90s, the Gulf War. He said, look, you're on TV, you reach a lot of people. We started the softball tournament when we were seniors in high school. Why don't we try to raise money for a charity? At the time, 9/11 was still fresh. Patriotism was really, really high. And so we started giving back to Louisiana military charities. Blue Star Mothers of Louisiana is one we've consistently given to over the years. They do an amazing job. If you ever see Memorial Day weekend when they plant all those American flags out at the state capitol, and then Wounded War Heroes, which is not the Wounded Warrior Project, is another one we give to, and they do great things like they take wounded warriors on fishing trips, hunting trips, to these nice camps and pay for all their food and their lodging and everything. So, the softball tournament is coming up in late July. Our concert is what we want to talk about the most right now. That's coming up this Friday at Chelsea's Live. It really is a festival-like lineup. We've got Chase Tyler, Chris LeBlanc, Trey Gallman, former LSU fullback, who's really coming up in the country music ranks. Some great rock with Regeneration and Petty Betty. Connor James, another country artist. They're all donating their time. I've learned that if people donate their time, you raise a lot more money, Jordy. We've done the concerts in the past where we brought in Sugar Ray and Gin Blossoms and Everclear, and that's fun, and that sells a lot of tickets, and that's excitement, but then you could sell out a crowd and not make any money. Because you got to pay the people. So this is 100% profit. Really, we've sold over 200 tickets. There's a little less than 400 tickets left, but that's really good at this point because typically all your sales are the last 3 days. The walk-up typically is 100 at least. So we're looking to sell the place out. We hope people come out. Just a $25 ticket. You get a free Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Oh, nice.
From our new title sponsor, Chick-fil-A. We're real proud that Chick-fil-A, approached us and said, hey, we want to be your title sponsor. Man. Biggest donation anyone's ever given us.
Wow.
Second to Judy Smart, Sugar Britches. We still love your organization over at Roadrunner.
Yeah.
But
your arms and your legs, just want your toes.
So she's been great. And then so you get Chick-fil-A sandwich. First beer is free. It's just a $25 ticket this Friday at Chelsea's Live. Voted the best music venue by 225 magazine. And
Absolutely.
They just been open since January, I think.
So. And really the setup of that bar, if you've talked to people that have kind of like got into this stuff, and look, we're into lighting. We're looking for lighting answers. People have like gone into Chelsea's, the new Chelsea's bar located right there under the bridge on Nicholson, and like studied the way that it's been like set up, the lighting. It's very comfortable in there. I mean, it's very cozy the way that it's set up. Dave and the crew over there did a tremendous job.
The sound is great too. Like
yes,
you can stand
sound, light. That's what I'm saying. Like the technical aspects of the bar are like.
Yeah.
I mean.
You can stand next to the stage or in the back, and you're not getting blown out by the sound or those high pitched, trebles and whatnot. So yeah, it's awesome.
And then you got the softball tournament coming up at the end of July, right?
Yeah, we're doing that. Anybody can register a team. This is our biggest moneymaker. We typically get 80 to 90, even 100 teams that come in from Jacksonville, Alabama, Mississippi, and really big news that Breck is investing, I think, $2 to $3 million into Oak Villa, which I've always said is a sleeping giant here in Baton Rouge. They're getting all those fields turfed, which in the past they've been dirt, and so if it rains, it can be very frustrating to plan an event for months and months. You get a few showers and hey, you're done. So now with the turf fields, you get a shower, cool off, get right back out there and play. So, and it's not an LSU sporting event, but still it brings people in to our hotels, our restaurants. That there are a lot of people that play slow pitch softball. It's great for guys and girls, the co-ed teams to do things together and stuff. And so, that's going to take place in late July. And so you can register at redrockandblue.com if you got a team.
And I know one of the big events that everybody looks forward to every year is the celebrity softball game. Is that happening this year?
We're
one of my most embarrassing moments publicly, by the way.
I seem to remember Culotta hitting it over the fence a couple of times.
I had one good showing. When you had it at Tiger Park when the fences were in.
Yes,
I thought
they
I
were.
played very well that day. Then the next year, You had an attraction, and the leadoff batter of the game, Leon Landry. They say in baseball, if you're nervous, the ball will find you. And the opening pitch of the game, he had a pop-up between Darius Geis and I. Geis looked at me and said, "It's yours."
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, right.
You put it right in your lap.
And I tried to track it, and looked like I had 2 left feet. It was just
Fall?
didn't fall.
Okay.
Didn't
Just
fall.
a little circus
But
dance.
yeah, just kind of, my first step was up. Should have been back.
Geis is yelling at
Just
you.
ate me up. Yeah, right.
Leon's not slow.
Yeah, right.
I remember when we did at Tiger Park, Burpin was out there one day. He's like, "Hey, your fences are too short." All right. He pointed at Jason Williams. This guy's going to hit it.
Jason Williams, I think, hit it out of sight. I think he hit it to the box.
Yeah.
He's the best softball player I've ever seen.
Yeah, he was, I think, still playing
Right.
on tours and stuff
Yes.
like that. But the last couple of years with COVID and NIL and getting a tad older, it's just so much energy and so much stress to put that thing on.
I bet.
And it doesn't raise the type of money you'd like after expenses. So we're going to do a golf tournament is our plan.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to do it October 29th, which is the bye week for LSU football before Alabama. And so we're going to get people like you. Kind of the same idea. Get local celebrities and sort of celebrities to come out and play in a golf tournament.
Yeah.
Because old people play golf.
Sure.
And a lot of rich old people play golf. So
Yes,
hopefully we can make
Well
Well
said, Jacques. Well said. Yes.
No,
so hopefully we can
demographic.
make a lot of money
That's right.
doing
You see the
that.
red, rock, and blue sales pitch. They just hit you in the face. You know what I mean?
Shake your hand and reach in your back pocket.
So that's great, man. So redrockandblue.com, right?
RedRockandBlue.com, but right off the bat, big concert this Friday. And if you want a T-shirt, we got new T-shirts. You got one of the tie-dye ones there as well. And so tie-dye.
You can get all the
apparel.
merchandise on redrockandblue.com.
We're getting
too.
some caps made too, like some trucker hats and stuff too this year. So a lot of different stuff.
Nice. JD, LSU baseball just picked up a sitting Major League Baseball pitching coach out of a first place team. I've been listening to a couple of podcasts that are reacting to this on national sports and a couple of MLB podcasts that are just kind of blown away at this move by LSU. What do you make of the short offseason that Jay Johnson has had up to this point?
There's a very interesting article at The Athletic talking about is this a new thing where major league pitching coaches are going to leave to go to college, and the pros and cons of, obviously a major league season, 162 games, you don't see your families, whatnot. College season much more condensed, but at the same time, it's the Joe Brady thing, right? Joe Brady wants to coach football. He doesn't want to go out and recruit and do all this other stuff.
Right.
So LSU was able to pay this Wes Johnson, I think, $750,000 altogether. I think
Right.
the base salary is
Incentives.
like $350, and then the camp money and things like that they can throw in. So, very big coup for LSU. Certainly a lot of great talent coming in. And I think they need to add some more pitching, but I think I saw a preseason poll that already has LSU number 1 next year. I sat down with Todd Walker a few days ago.
I saw that.
We chatted, and
Where he predicted Tennessee, LSU, and the Natty.
Tennessee and LSU in the Natty. I'm calling it right now.
I saw that.
I'm like, Todd, it's like the season just ended. Do we
It's
even know who's on the
July.
rosters yet? But to Todd's point, this other poll, completely independent of Todd, had LSU 1, Tennessee 2. So apparently that's the early feeling on next year. So fall ball is going to be really interesting to get out there and see these new guys and meet these coaches and see what's going to happen. But yeah, Jay Johnson, I don't think anyone has ever doubted his relentless work ethic and just determination to get LSU back on top.
Yeah, Team USA announced their final roster, and Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan both made the final. I don't think that surprises a lot of anybody. You and I will be over in Georgia covering SEC Media Days. Really looking forward to that trip. It's always a great trip. Relationship building, a lot of people from around the conference there. But it'll be our first look at Brian Kelly publicly to the conference as LSU's coach. I know he spoke at the spring meetings, but not as big of a platform. What do you expect to hear from the first-year head man?
Well, I was at an event where there were a bunch of national sportscasters from around the country, and we were starting to talk about, LSU. Where are you from? Baton Rouge. Oh, LSU. How's Brian Kelly and his fake accent? How's that Southern accent? It's the new Les Miles Eats Grass. I'm sick of it already,
Right, yeah.
But so that's kind of the national view on him. Why is he here? Why did he come to LSU? It's a weird fit. It's quirky. But, for us, the SEC Media Day is kind of like the Daytona 500. The biggest one's first. LSU will go first. And I expect for him to get a lot of questions that we've already asked him, the same stuff. Why'd you come to LSU? Do you feel like you can win a national championship? Why'd you leave Notre Dame? Why'd you dance with those players in the video? It's going to be the same stuff kind of recycled. But, I've seen some polls that have him ranked the 4th or 3rd best coach in the SEC. That's definitely an upgrade from previous years, considering who's in the league. And so I think every day is going to be interesting and exciting. Even the last day, Tennessee's coming to Tiger Stadium this year. That's unique. I'll never forget, Jordy, this one year, they poor Kentucky. They saved Kentucky last on the SEC Media Days, and literally Bob Stoops is getting up there. Mark Stoops.
Yeah, Mark,
not Bob. And they're literally breaking down tripods in the back and stuff. People getting out, because Alabama had been done earlier in the day, So it's exciting. Some people make fun of it and say it's a bunch of coach speak and you don't learn anything. But to me, it's the first shot of adrenaline that, hey, college football is getting close, and I get excited about it.
Yeah, and to me, for especially for people like you and I who rely on information, especially from around the conference during the season, a great time to build the relationships, establish contacts of people around SEC cities, even national cities. I mean, the SEC Media Day has become such a national pull now because of the power of the conference. That you meet so many people in our industry that you can resource throughout the year. Scott Woodward's about to come through here.
Well, I definitely need to get out of here.
No. I want to ask you. I want to ask you before he gets through here, because
you have an eject button.
Right. Get the hell out of here.
Just want you to warm the seat.
You and your damn fundraiser. But you had a great sit down with him a couple of months ago. And even since then, there's been revolutionary change on the campus as far as the athletic coaches have gone. I mean, you look at the athletic building now. I mean, it's Scott Woodward, right? I mean, like, it's all of his moves. What have you made of his time going into his 5th year here?
Well, I think a couple months ago marked the third year that he was hired, his 3rd year anniversary here. And I remember being at that press conference on the LSU campus, right? It was in the journalism building.
Yep.
And it was like it was too good to be true for a lot of fans. We got rid of Joe Oliva and we got Scott Woodward. Did this really happen? He just walked in. So,
keep going, keep talking.
He's been very approachable.
We're talking about you.
And the whole athletic, all the coaches are new, and so moving forward. So I need to wrap up because the man is here, and I want to watch and listen.
One more time, tell them about Red, Rock, and Blue, where they can find information.
Our big charity concert this Friday at Chelsea's Live, just a $25 ticket. All the information at redrockandblue.com, including tickets. You're giving back to local Louisiana military charities. You'll refresh off the 4th of July, and let's remember, why we're able to go to football games and have fun like we're doing right now. It's because of our military.
Remember, Go Flow IV. They bring you the Jordy Culotta Show every single day, GEAUX, flowiv.com. If you mention the show, you'll save 15% on your initial visit over there. If you're looking for a little energy, getting off of a weekend for the 4th, you had a long holiday weekend, you're trying to catch up on some sleep. If you're trying to get your vitamins right, get over to Go Flow IV. They can help you out over there at goflowiv.com, GEAUX, flowiv.com. Scott Woodward, Director of Athletics, just walked into the studio. We will sit down with him next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check them out online at redsticksports.biz. Southern Eye Centers, where their passion is caring for eyes. It's what they do. They've been doing it for 40 years. They've been offering the Capital Region a friendly, helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. Stop in and see their brand new office on Jefferson Highway today. where you can find them at 6859 Jefferson Highway. They also are the daily poll sponsor on the Culotta Show. And remember, if you go into Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you will receive 25% off of their fantastic sunglasses selection over at Southern Eye Center. Check out Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Center, the daily poll sponsor of the Jordy Culotta Show. Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. That is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. All right, welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. It's been really cool to get to know some of the administrators, coaches, the people that are making the decisions over at LSU over the last couple of weeks and months, including some of the players from the football team that's come through here. We are very much looking forward to our next guest and very honored to have him in studio, sitting down and chatting with us for the next couple of minutes to talk about what's going on campus, in the league, and around LSU athletics, and that is the director of athletics, Mr. Scott Woodward, here with us on this Wednesday morning. Scott, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, glad to be here, Jordy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. We were talking about the way that our industry is changing. Media is changing so different than when it was 2 years ago. 2 years from now, it'll be polarizing different than what we sit in today. College athletics feels the same way. Can you kind of describe, since you've even been on the job here in Baton Rouge, how it has changed and what you anticipate maybe even the future to feel like?
Yeah, it's kind of weird in a perverse way, Jordy. You know me well, is that I kind of relish in change, and I do like it. I'm one of the few people that embraces it, and we're very lucky at LSU to have it, to be where we are and to be able to do that. I mean, I can't say that for everyone in the business because it is unsettling in a lot of ways. But for us, change is a good thing, and I think we're going to be the beneficiary of it. And it's not gonna stop. It's just going to keep on going. Yeah. And I'd be lying to you if I told you I had a crystal ball and can tell you what was going on and what's going to happen. But we're going to be here, and we're going to embrace it, and we're going to take advantage of it the best we can. I
remember the last time I talked to you here on this platform, it was after Kim Mulkey was hired as the women's coach, and I kind of was speaking to you kind of like almost in shock, like, Coach, like, you got Coach Mulkey here, and you kind of shot back like, people should expect this at LSU. Yeah. People should expect Kim Mulkey to want to come here to coach at LSU. You have changed the feeling around the athletic program in a short time. Do you feel the momentum changing and kind of reversing its course in that building?
It's a matter that it was always there. It's just, it was a untapped gold mine. And look, some of your listeners are not going to want to hear this, but it's true. I mean, Mark Emmert and Nick Saban changed the culture at LSU in the early 2000s to where we could have gone down divergent paths. We could have gone to the lesser side of mediocrity in the SEC, or we could be at the big boys table, which we have been at for, frankly, 2 decades now. And there's no doubt that that's our place. Hey, I'm just lucky to be the steward of this great enterprise. But, back to your original question of it's things to come and what's happening. We saw, what happened in the Big 12 with gaining their 2 marquee members in our league, and you know, we didn't go after them, chasing them. They came to us, and that was a beautiful thing. And the same thing that we watched in the Pac-12. So here you go. It's no coincidence that Jay Johnson and Kim Mulkey came from those two leagues.
Right.
You know, they're not stupid people.
Yeah.
You know, they're very smart, and they have a very futuristic view of things, and they see what's happening in the SEC and particularly in Baton Rouge, and like, hey, we want to be part of this because we know there's going to be a lot of good things happening and a lot of growth going forward.
Speaking of Jay Johnson, he has shaken up the baseball world over the last couple of days. You've gotten some mega transfers in from the portal, but one move that has shaken up the sport has been Wes Johnson jumping off of a first-place team in the major leagues as a pitching coach to come to LSU in the middle of the year. Talk about the decision behind that move and what you expect to maybe see from that, and now that it's happened here at LSU, you guys kind of being the pace setter on it.
Yeah, and here again, not to sound corny or maudlin or anything about it, it's the place. You know, it's who we are. You know, I've talked to you about it all the time, about your grandfather and how he was always a supporter of mine and a guy that I could look up to and do that. Well, same thing with Skip Bertman. You know, we stand on the shoulders of giants like that, and you know what Skip Bertman built is just, you know, phenomenal, and people want to be here, and this is what happens, and you just never know in circumstances of what and how people are ready to make a move or make a change, and I think we're in a key position with that. Not only is Wes Johnson, you know, a star in the business and one of the best pitching coaches there are out there, but he wanted to be in Baton Rouge and back here. He made a conscious decision of doing that and wanting to be here because of how special it is. And I think here again, we don't give ourselves enough credit because we're here and we're too close to it at times.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's a point in case. But, you know, the other thing is that, hey, Jace got it rolling pretty good.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
does.
year one, he loses two coaches to two Power 5 teams. That's, you know, it's pretty impressive for what's happening and his ability to locate and to identify talent that could come in, and we're just hopefully going to get better now.
Yeah, absolutely. I always said about the head coaching position here with the football program, for you being from Baton Rouge, going to LSU, working at LSU, leaving, coming back as the athletics director, you always knew you were going to have to make that decision at some point in your role. Can you talk about what that process was like, how big that choice was, and now that you have Kelly, how he's adapted to the SEC and LSU?
Yeah, you know, like always, and Jordy, I've told you this, and I've told everyone that I know too well, is that, you know, in the words of Abraham Lincoln, things become self-evident. And, you know, having to make a change became self-evident. As much as we love Coach O and what he does and how he does it, and that special year he gave us in 2019, which will probably go down as the greatest football team in the history of college football, it just wasn't going, you know, those next 2 years the way that we wanted it to go. And, you know, we came to that conclusion, and that was one of those things that they're hard because, you know, I love Coach O, and I love his two sons, and I've gotten to know him, 3 sons, gotten to know him well, and it's hard to make that change, but it was absolutely necessary.
Yeah. And Brian Kelly, that process of bringing him in and going after a name and a sitting Notre Dame coach, and being able to bring him here, that process and the ultimate choice, I guess, to land there.
Yeah, you know, it goes back to what we have here and how special it is. I mean, you guys know statistics and trivia better than I do, but, you know, where in the past couple of decades have 3 different coaches won national championships? I don't think you can name it.
No.
Because this
I can
place,
name one. Yeah.
This place is special, and everyone knows it. And I think Coach was loving where he was at Notre Dame, had a good situation, but he wanted to take it to that next level, and he wanted what we could have to offer here. especially in our league and especially what's going on, and he relishes competition. Whether it's Nick Saban or you name it, in our league, it's stacked with great coaches to take on.
I remember Joe Brady told me when he was first on the job, and then Jamar Cain told us the same thing yesterday, is that you love the recruiting part of football.
I do.
Where does that come from?
It's just, you love these kids and you love to see it. And it goes back, Jordy, when I was a kid. I remember I was working concessions at LSU, and I would see young couples bring their child there and just stare up at Tiger Stadium. And I know what was going on. It was the aspiration that this kid went to LSU and how special it was.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're in this business, is for these kids. And you like doing these things, and you love seeing how and what it does to them. Because LSU changed me. It was a transformational place for me, and it was just so special. And you see that in these kids once they come in, and you get to know them, and you get to know their family, and it just becomes, almost intoxifying. You're intoxicated by it, and you can't help it. And laughing and looking at this one, that was a special player, Dirty 30. I mean, man, that dude could ball, and I loved messing with him. I remember when he was a kid. He's a grown man now. And you see these things, and you just wish him well. And these guys are scattered through my life, and whether they're doctors or successful business people or educators or just doing great things in the community. I just go through and back and forth through the names of guys you run into. You just make you smile. I stay in touch with Matt Malk. I stay in touch with Dr. Henry Barham, who was a walk-on here, and I see these guys all the time. Brady James, obviously Booger and Marcus being in your business. It's great to see Ryan Clark. These guys were kids when I know them. I was kind of a kid too.
Sure.
But it was fun, and that's what's so rewarding about it. And that this place, LSU and Louisiana, takes care of our future I would say future citizens of this community. And there's nothing like it. I mean, you even see Shaq talking about how important LSU was to building his brand and what he was about. And it's just different.
Yeah. Powerful voices in the sport have said that NIL has made college football maybe unsustainable. Nick Saban has voiced it. Brian Kelly has voiced some concern about it. What's your vantage point of NIL and how's the future look around sports with it?
It's just like anything else. I mean, I don't want to get into hyperbole, but it's, everything is. I mean, frankly, I'm still worried more about concussions. We don't talk about it much anymore, but, we've kind of helped solve it in a lot of ways and make the game a lot safer. So anytime we have existential threats, which this one could or could not be, we just deal with it, and we will deal with it. It's just part of the game. And, I don't mind a lot of what's come out of this movement of doing more for the student athletes, but like anything else, it boomerangs a little too far, and you got to swing it back into, hey, what we do for the student athletes, and it's a hell of a lot, and I'm proud of that fact that we are leaders in doing that. But it is, and Nick and BK are exactly right. It's one of those things that we have to be very careful about, because we don't want it to become incentive, pay for play kind of thing. We want it to be another tool in what we do, whether it's a degree or an education, or whether it's taking care of someone while they're here, or whether it's investing in their medical well-being while we're here. All that stuff costs money, and obviously NIL is another tool in what we're going to participate in and how we do it. And frankly, it's here to stay, and we're going to embrace it and just hopefully not go down that bad path. Yeah.
You had a great line in Destin when you were asked by Feinbaum about your thoughts on two of your good friends, Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher, going back and forth. But that's what you don't want, right? I mean, I'd imagine from Sankey's standpoint, you guys' standpoint, you don't want two of your power figures publicly going at each other like that.
But that's just part of it. They're competitors. They're fiercely competitive in what and how they do it, and it's going to sometimes get off the rail, and you just got to get it back on. those things are unfortunate. You don't like them. I didn't like them. I had to joke about it because if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah.
I was pissed about it. Come on, man,
Right.
let's go. This is not good for the greater good. But I know they're good people and they care about their student athletes and they do a good job and it's just part of how the game gets hyper competitive.
I loved two of the last announcements your office has made about commemorating two of its former athletes. Simone Augustus is going to get a statue, and Pistol Pete will get a statue unveiled. How did those decisions get made? And I'd imagine that those are probably two prideful announcements that have been made on your watch of bringing in and memorizing those guys.
Here again,
and
it's internal
ladies.
operations. I didn't have
Sure.
Jack to do with it. I'm part of this. Like you said, I'm a steward, and I'm happy that it is the case. Couldn't be more happy for Pete and his family. Jackie's such a wonderful lady, and what and how we honor Pete. And it was a long time coming. That statue was built. It's just a matter of getting it put up and doing it. And the Simone Augustus thing was timely, and she couldn't have been more pleased. Coach Kim Mulkey made the call, and I don't want to embarrass Simone, but she was very emotional about it in a good way, and that's what you want, because there's no two special basketball players in Simone and Pete that represent the greatness of the game, and they're ours, they're LSU's, and we're not just a football school, Jordy.
For sure. No, I think a lot of your moves that you've made here over the last couple of months have proven the popularity, or I guess not an easy sales pitch, but it seems like when you walk in with the polo on, you probably get everybody's attention.
You do, and I know you had Jamar Kane on, and how he talks about it. It just does, and when you have LSU, and when you do that, and you walk in to a home or to a school or to wherever you go, it is an attention getter, and that's because we do great things and have done great things here for generations, and I'm proud of that fact. And the greater good will always outweigh some of the mistakes we make.
Sure. I know you have a facilities assessment coming up at the end of the summer. Any insight on what you've seen and found there, or what the future may look like on campus?
We're going to do it right. The Tiger Athletic Foundation and in partnership, obviously, hand in hand with what we do, funded a master plan study, because I wanted to see, hey, what we needed, and I just didn't want my opinion. I've been a few places, and I have a good one, I think, but you just want to see how and what our needs are, and so we're in that process of looking at it. And obviously, the PMAC is 50 years old this year, and probably needs some updating. It's got good bones, and maybe we can see what we can do with that. Same thing with all that property that we have both down Nicholson and where we are currently on Nicholson and North Stadium, is that, hey, is this the proper use and best use for that? And hand in hand with the university and what we do with TAF, we'll make those decisions, and we'll be prudent and thinking about what and how we do it.
You brought up Stephanie earlier, Stephanie Remp, who was your associate athletic director, and it seemed like you two had such a great working relationship, very much worked well off of one another. She just accepted the Nevada athletics director job. It was only a matter of time, right, before somebody discovered her talent. How crucial is that replacement in hiring that position, and what is the responsibility of that role?
Here again, it's Stephanie was our chief operating officer. She ran the internal guts of the business. She and Verge Osbury, my deputies, and she ran the internal part of the business and just did an incredible job. Like we were talking off camera earlier, Stephanie was with me for a long time, and I poached her from Oklahoma at the time, and was lucky to get her to go to Washington and follow me and become COO at Texas A&M, and then followed me here. And it's long overdue that she gets a head job, because she's highly qualified and highly competent. But here again, I couldn't be more happy with the job she's done in here with me to help continue making LSU great. But it's time, and I couldn't be more happy for her. and her replacement will be just like we do in head coaching searches. You know, we'll get a good one, and there's a lot of people that look up to this job Stephanie has done and what's going on at LSU, and I have a feeling it's not going to be a hard process to replace her.
You have such a great relationship with Greg Sankey. You can sense the relationship and the respect that you two have for one another when you're in each other's presence.
Yep.
You mentioned the additions of Texas and Oklahoma. How do you envision the league over the next 5 years on how this thing could grow and what it could grow into?
You know, I would be lying if I told you, but I can assure you Greg and our league will be 2 steps ahead on the chessboard and ready to pounce when there is either expansion or change. But it would be pure speculation, me telling you, hey, I think this is going to happen or that's going to happen. And there's obviously a huge separation in revenue with the 2 big Power 5 leagues and us in the Big Ten. And so we'll see what it brings, but I can assure you what we'll do will make sense, and like the last expansion did, and we'll do it the right way.
A couple more, I'll get you out of here, and I appreciate your time here on this Wednesday morning.
Here.
Transfer portal. You guys took so much advantage of it, and it seems like a lot of sports, but football was able to really replenish the roster and become competitive from January to spring into the off season. What's your thoughts of it, and does it need to be regulated?
Yeah, I think it does, Jordy. And look, you talked about football. My God, the Coach McMahon, who we haven't talked much about, how did he thrived on it? And look, do I like it? No. I mean, I'm a traditionalist. I mean, 59 years old. I mean, I like the way it was. I liked, I liked when Pete Maravich was at the Cow Palace, and I liked watching Shaq and Mahmoud and those guys do their thing. But things change, and we have to accept that, and we have accepted it to our advantage. Now, is it good for the greater good? I don't think so. And we have to get some guardrails and get some things in how and what we do it, and we will, and we'll figure it out. Hopefully it'll be in due time.
Yeah. Maybe an unfair question. Where does the regulation on that conversation begin? Is it the NCAA? Is it conference? Is it institution?
It's a great question. Or the courts.
Yeah.
It's driven a lot of this stuff, and given student athletes opportunities and what and how we do this stuff, it's a hard question, and the answer is all the above. And so we have to be very smart about what and how we do it and talk about it.
What is the vantage point of institutions like LSU to the NCAA? How does that relationship work now with things changing?
Yeah, it's hard. It's more of we're really it's what you're closest to. Obviously, we're closest to the SEC, and then we delegate a lot of that authority to the commissioner to represent us as a league with the NCAA and what and how it does it. Because we know that the NCAA is so different with disparate parts. Division III schools all the way to what we have in Division I, which makes no sense. I mean, Slippery Rock and Ohio State.
Right.
Come on, really?
Right.
And so what happens is that you regulate to the lowest common denominator, and that's what's happened. And we do it to ourselves. It's no one's fault individually. It's us. We're part of it. I'm part of it. And we've overregulated and done silly things, and hopefully going forward we'll fix it. But it's a holistic view, and Greg is in the middle of it, and I support what and how he does it, and if I can help in any way we will, but we'll always do it with 2 things in mind. Hey, is it good for LSU, and is it good for the greater good of sport? And we've got to really think about both those things going forward.
Your opening weekends for college football, your opening game in New Orleans on Sunday in prime time, and then your home opener versus Southern on campus will be 2 special weekends, I know, for Brian Kelly to be a part of, but for you, somebody who was in that scheduling process, to see that kind of playing out will be cool, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it really will be. I mean, those Sunday night games and on Labor Day weekend do a monster rating. It'll be good exposure not only for our programs but for the university as a whole. and really look forward to that game. And then just having a great crosstown. I can't even call them a rival. They're friends. You know, we love each other, and they're an important part of the fabric of this community. And it's finally, about time that we've done something this special. And I'm looking forward not only to having the Southern football team here, but to have their fans and wonderful traditions, tailgating, their band, obviously. Human Jukebox is special.
I can't wait, man. The halftime show.
Yeah.
Worth the price of admission. Woody, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
It's great
Glad
to see
be
you.
here, Jordy.
Yes,
I can't tell you know that. So it's always fun to be here.
Have a great rest of your week, and we will talk again soon. Scott Woodward joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be back with more coming at you here, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check them out online at redsticksports.biz. Southern Eye Centers, where their passion is caring for eyes. It's what they do. They've been doing it for 40 years. They've been offering the capital region a friendly, helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. Stop in and see their brand new office on Jefferson Highway today, where you can find them at 6859 Jefferson Highway. They also are the daily poll sponsor on the Culotta Show. And remember, if you go into Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you will receive 25% off of their fantastic sunglasses selection over at Southern Eye Center. Check out Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Center, the daily poll sponsor of the Jordy Culotta Show. Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. That is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. What else we got? One more. Voicemail. Hang on 1 second, Jamil. We're coming to you after this
Jamil's just in there
voicemail.
talking, we're all snapping at her. Shut up.
Shut up back there.
I was just calling to find out when the Jordy Culotta Invitational is going down. Don't make it soon because it's too damn hot. I know y'all know that with the lack of AC going on at the joint. And if Rico Delgado's listening, he's a bitch. Send my condolences to Jacques. Bye. I was just calling to find.
That's awesome.
Bro,
He
that's
is
the Call
listening.
Hall of Fame. There it is.
That is.
That's the one seed.
That's what we needed.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's what we've been looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't play it long. And you know what? We need to cut that up. Play that last part again. Let me hear that last part. We should be able to cut this part up.
I know y'all know that with the lack of AC going on at the joint. And if Rico Delgado's listening, he's a bitch. Sorry, WAFB.
Sorry, WAFB.
That'll be a fine, wherever you are. Whoever you are, where are you
It's
calling
from
from?
Spring, Texas.
Okay, I
Send
love
us
it,
a
dude.
dollar.
See, that's what we need. We need to know your name. Inspiration, man.
Appreciate
I
that.
cannot wait to watch your group play. And the reason we said this to the public, we wanted to get you on, is because everybody that's come through here, recruit, player in the locker room, coaches, have mentioned your name of making an impact on their time or their decision to be at LSU. So keep doing it right, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Like I said, you give our guys a platform. They come in talking about the show, so
Yeah.
this is awesome. Nice setup too. I might steal one of these couches.
Yeah, you got it, bro. You got it. We got a lot of gear for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
LSU cornerbacks coach Robert Steeple's in with us for that was great conversation. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Shout out to our friends over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Shout out to Shane, the chef. If you need pre-made meals, if you can't make your food each week and you need some help for
Like Bree's
pre-made meals.
enjoying it right
Bree,
now.
what you eating on?
Speak of the devil.
What you eating on, Bree?
Yum.
Ah, nice.
Yum.
Breakfast
Ooh,
skillet.
yeah. Good idea.
Shout out to Bree. She's been working on our videos, those videos that you've seen edited
Oh,
up
so
for
good.
like yesterday's Jamar Kane. I'd imagine Scott Woodward's will be coming out here in a couple of minutes, couple of hours, sorry. or minutes.
Get
to work. All right. Fresh Chef
That's enough
Kitchen.
food. That's
Do we
good.
have,
That's
do we have a
funny.
promo code? Jordy 10? No, it's expired.
Jordy 10, I think it might be
Yeah,
expired.
but just
give
tell
it
him
a
Jordy
try.
10.
Give it a try.
Tell him Jordy 10.
They'll work with you.
Mine.
Fresh Chef Kitchen. All right, good stuff, man. I appreciate Scott Woodward for
That
coming
was
through
great.
here. And Deli sent us a text message. Let me read Dellenger's exact
Live
text
on air.
message here to make sure
You
he's
read
not
through it first to make
bullshitting
sure
us.
it's okay.
Yo, I'm juggling phone calls with ADs with realignment news. I got to bail on you. Sorry, bro. That feels very dog ate my homework.
It feels like, well, if I send this, there's no way
Right,
he can
right,
rebut.
He's
I don't
mad.
believe you.
He's
We're
mad
also
'cause
having
you pushed him.
conversation with ADs.
Which one?
Right?
Good stuff from Scott Woodward.
That was good.
We appreciate him stopping in here on this Wednesday morning. Hopefully, we asked him all the questions. We thought about the questions and wanted to ask him everything from scheduling to NIL to statues, and was able to talk to him about everything that's been going on over the last couple of months and what he expects over the next couple of years with conference realignment and conference adding more brands and schools like the SEC had. So make sure you hit the like button, share button, comment button. If you have not subscribed to the Jordy Culotta Show page, please make sure and hit that subscription. If you want to keep up with all of what is going on with the show, just hit that bell. In fact, this afternoon we've got some good programming coming at you. Seven Banks, the transfer cornerback from Ohio State, is going to be in studio with us at 2:30 this afternoon. Really looking forward to speaking with Seven Banks. A lot of curiosity around Banks.
I believe so.
I mean, some people were wondering if he was even on campus.
Is he even real?
Like some
I
people
know,
were wondering like if
right?
he even exists.
I don't know. Is he a real
Yeah, what's
person?
Or some
with
people in
that?
Ohio State asking if he even exists. But he is now down here in Baton Rouge, and we talked to a couple of defensive coaches. Matt House was in here. Of course, Robert Steeples came by a couple of weeks ago and was talking about it. And then Jamar Kane talking to him a little bit about Seven Banks. A lot of expectation on Banks. I still think that our guy, Mekhi Garner, is really getting a lot of attention from a DB standpoint, a cornerback standpoint. And then Jarek Bernard-Converse, who came through here last week, is a guy that has a lot of veteran playing time, right? He got a lot of skill. He just played a lot of football. I mean, he's just played a lot of games. It brings in a ton of experience. Seven Banks looks like DBU. Like, out of all of them, Gardner looks more like a defensive end, like maybe like a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Than he does a cornerback. But there's a lot of expectation around Garner to be a player. I mean, you can feel it. Like, a lot of people
You need it.
Well, they need it, but I think even like after seeing him practice, getting to know him, like they think like Garner's gonna be a dog. Banks is the one that feels like old LSU would have recruited hard.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This is a Corey Raven.
Yeah, you got to go
prototype.
get this guy.
Yeah,
this is a Jalen Mills, Jalen
Collins
Stingley,
kind of, like a 6'2",
Jalen Collins,
205,
right.
like, oh my
Daryl
God,
Simon,
right.
just doesn't look the part, but a freak.
Was he called Seven before he wore the number
That's his
7?
name.
No, that's his name.
No,
S-E-V-Y-N.
no, that's his God-given name.
That's his
Yes.
name.
This was
Oh,
his
so that's
mother
why
name.
he wears 7.
Yes.
I wonder where that comes from, though.
Is he going to be?
We're gonna
number
ask
7?
him.
I
You
love
can't.
that name.
I don't know if you can walk into LSU and just claim 7 because it's
You
your
don't wanna-
If
name.
your name
don't
is
wanna get
7,
into-
I mean, let me tell you, bro. The last time somebody called down that smoke, Jonathan Giles, he
Yeah.
quit.
Coach.
Quit.
He quit.
Took it off him in the middle of the season.
He quit.
I still think that you should have 7 if your name is 7.
I don't know,
mean,
man.
you
Let me go
disagree?
down. Let me go down.
Why?
Let me go down the fraternity of 7.
I know,
Yeah.
but
You know what I
he's
mean?
always
Like,
been number 7. His
To
name
just
is
think you
7.
can get in that
He wants
frat
to be
because of your
7.
name. Well, that's what you love about him.
Yeah.
I think that's what you love about Seven Banks is that he wants to be 7.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
But I think that's a prove it. You know what I mean? Like, I think only a couple of people can say Leonard Fournette could say I wanted 7.
You're right.
Right?
And they made him work for it, too.
Yeah, I mean, they
Did you-
ribbed him a little
Have
bit.
you ever heard the story about that?
About what?
He was on a phone call with Patrick Peterson, Honey Badger.
Oh, okay.
and
Like,
all
trying to
that.
get into the frat.
And, yeah, and he was like, look, if y'all don't want to give it to me, I'll just get him a 5 like I was in high school.
Yeah,
Like,
say 5. Actually, Leonard, get 7.
Yeah,
Whatever
it takes.
Now coach is calling.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I think that I'm not the big number guy at LSU. I think that this would be a great time if you were like thinking about it, like to do away with that stuff. It feels very Notre Dame-ish to me. It feels very
the number thing, the choosing the number thing.
like the tradition.
Yeah.
Stuff. It feels very Penn State. Feels very, like weird. But I can get down with 7 because of the frat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
because the
everybody,
elite of the
like
elite.
I'll even go back to like Ali Highsmith.
I was about to say that.
You know what I mean? Like, enter him into it. Like, people like throw like Burt Jones, James Gilliard was a great number 7. Google him. I mean, talk about a freak before a freak.
Running
He
back?
looked linebacker.
Linebacker.
So was 1 year of playing time enough to convince you to give him number 7?
No,
He's
look,
deserving
man,
of 7.
I want 7 Banks to wear 7.
Yeah.
Just because I'd love for somebody with that swag,
Yeah.
having that number with that name to be a
Right.
player.
Yeah.
I want 7 Banks to be a player, but I would feel uncomfortable giving him that number from his standpoint.
Right.
Like what the smoke that's going to bring. Maybe he wants it. You know what I mean? Maybe he's one of those guys like Tyrann Mathieu was telling us a story about him at Tennessee football camp where it came to it where like him and Jarvis Landry were just running every rep. You know what I mean? Like, they want all the smoke. You know what I mean? Maybe 7 Banks is that guy where he can handle the pressure of the number. I think Kayshawn is a clear-cut number. Like, that's a
Yeah.
number 7.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's who it is. Derek Stingley
Right.
last year. He's your number 7.
All
Right.
uniform team.
Right? Absolutely. So, we'll get down to the bottom of the name. Trev Falk was 7 as well. Rob Boudreaux and Adrian Baylor. Absolutely.
Man, lots of 7s.
Yeah, but it starts with
Pat.
I think Patrick Peterson is the one that made it like a tradition to pass it down, and I think that's where everybody would kind of era starts with.
Well, Pat, Pete, and Matthew were the golden age
Right.
of 7.
And then it's you got to
You
find
know?
a player. But Jamar Chase, Derek Stingley, those are all the guys that when it's somebody that you think is a bona fide, probably top 5 pick, that's kind of what it feels like. The absolute game changers of the game changers at LSU, and that's why I think there really is only one pick, and it's Kayshawn.
Yeah.
And he said he wants it, but it feels like the Brian Kelly era didn't start off so well with like.
Yeah, but they're good.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
No,
they're
they're good.
They're gonna get there.
No, they're
Fine.
fine.
But
I think they're good now.
Yeah.
Like they're past all of that.
Right, so
I mean,
I don't- that's what I'm saying, I don't think-
if anybody saw Kayshawn running around at the Manning Passing
he
Academy,
looks-
we're
he's
all
fine.
good,
We're good.
right? Like everybody's
Yeah.
good.
Now
I
Brian
mean, he
Kelly
looks like
does know
a
his name.
Cadillac.
I can
Exactly.
breathe now.
I mean, he is like gliding
Yeah.
around out there. He looks fully healthy. I mean, it's 2 surgeries later, coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but yes, I mean, as far as like the pecking order of 7, like it's Kayshawn and it's not even close.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
like, like don't overthink it. You know what I mean? Give it to him and move on. But it would be awesome if 7 was 7.
It would.
You know?
I mean, they could both be.
How many
7.
years does he have to play? I feel like he's got 2 years left, right?
I feel like he's been in college forever, but he's been
No, I'm
hurt
talking
a
about
lot.
7 Banks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's been.
But I
there
think,
for
but
3
yeah,
years.
because I think he's done like the red shirt, the
Yeah.
medical red shirt.
And
You know, what I
he's
mean, he's
got-
still
he's
got.
a COVID year or whatever.
Yeah, he probably has two to play 2.
I mean, so
He
Ball
He
out.
withdrew from the 2022 NFL draft and entered the portal.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Played in just 8 games for Ohio State last season.
Was he
Multiple
number 7?
injuries. Oh yeah. He has a chain that's the number
That's what I'm
7.
saying. It's kind of sad because everything's been number 7 his whole life.
It's all right.
I know.
And keep
Oh,
saying 7. You can be 17.
Gerard Guillory, Stingley put on 7 and went full quit. Stingley put on 7 and broke his foot, bro.
No, wait, did he
I
not see
mean-
the plays against UCLA?
I mean,
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
no. I'm not. But I mean, look
Not
at him
you,
now.
everybody.
Look at Stingley now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You seen the videos of him now? Sheesh.
looks like a pro.
He looks like a number 3 overall pick.
Yeah,
That's
don't
what he looks
overthink
like.
it.
Yeah,
Remember,
exactly.
remember.
Run the card up there.
Yeah.
Lovie Smith, he said he fell in love first day.
We talked a little bit about this in the first hour, but one of the pieces of news that popped while we were away. By the way, voicemail and newsbag and
Mailbag.
mailbag and voicemail.
Call us.
You can always call in. Remember the number 225-229-7741. Rove Camara. 225-229-7741. Have a take, don't suck.
we
Let us
have any
know where you come from. Do we have any voicemails? Rambling, drunk,
Drunk.
Drunk call. I love it.
Really?
middle of the
what
night,
do they want to know about?
booty dialing us.
Yeah. And another thing, Culotta.
Okay.
We got one from Vegas.
Sweet.
Let's
Next
not-
question.
Yeah, skip that one.
Next question. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
We'll get to you. We'll get to you.
Right. But this Zion contract, get involved. Your mailbag questions, hashtag mailbag inside of the chat. If you have any questions, we will get them asked and answered here. And you can always call 225-229-7741. 225-229-7741. Young of Mill said, who gets number 9? Nobody.
Never.
No one. That's one thing I didn't ask Woodward about was Burrow's statue.
Oh yeah, how
we
did
did
we not
statue
ask
talk,
that?
too.
We did statue
Did.
talk. And
That's
if you
like-
look in the document, I have next to statue talk Burrow question
you do
mark.
not.
Yes, I do.
Tough.
Burrow? Oh.
How did we forget that? We talk
You
about
had,
it
you
like
had every
once
one
a
of them,
month.
though. You had every other.
You did.
You just missed that one. That's
Yeah.
okay.
That's all right.
It's what do you think the answer would be?
He said he wouldn't tell you no again. so-
Scotty, very political. You can see why he's good at his job.
Yes, he is.
Very,
But,
very good at his job.
Yes.
He does the political compliment up front on the answer to kind of like soothe you. You know,
Then
like,
it's very
what I mean?
much. He
Jordy, as you and I have discussed many times,
Yes.
like we're talking business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Scotty, like
Nice.
make them think I'm on your conference calls, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It
You know what I
did
mean?
sound like that.
Doesn't it?
You
You
know me
what I mean?
so well.
Jordy was
I
in the
was
meetings.
like, dang.
Exactly. Like I've told you time and time
I
again.
know.
Jordy, like,
Like we were talking about
I
yesterday.
was like
who
that.
knew?
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
You're
I'll
just
take
like
it.
in
Should I
love
hit him with a
him.
text after lunch?
Yeah.
Like, what time's the call?
I know.
What you got going on the rest of the day?
I know.
You might get me
just
on a
wanna
third with
hang.
you and Sank?
Yeah.
Is he married? Is Scott Woodward married?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see a ring, so
Yes.
I wasn't sure.
Look at you,
I'll just check
peeping
it.
everything.
Just checking.
Just checking.
Making
See
her
me.
rounds, huh?
Sue me. Checking.
But he gives you the.
But he's very, I mean,
He's
he's
very good. You asked him about NIL, and he started off with something that. Look, let
He
me
did.
pivot really quick right
Right.
off the jump to a different part of this conversation.
He did.
He's good.
But he is kind of. Obviously, he's very forward thinking, but I thought some of the answers were he's kind of not lost, but he just harkens kind of like this was way easier 30 years ago.
Sure.
Now this is like I don't really know the answer because we've never been here before.
Well, I think
Yeah.
what makes Woodward so impressive at his job is he is
Adaptable.
a old mind, an old head in a new age world,
Right.
And very influential,
Yeah.
and it still has the power.
He
You know what I
does.
mean, he
He
still
does
has
well.
the respect and still has the power in the room because he has adapted, and he's so open to change.
Right.
Like one thing that you can hear in his answers that I don't think is political or drawn up is that that's probably behind closed doors. What he's telling his team is that we've got to stay open. We've got to be open for the changes that are coming and be able to adapt and then trim the fat and move forward with what we think is effective one. I mean, I saw where they just made another NIL officer hire inside of LSU's athletic administration. So Taylor Jacobs, who we saw that
Yeah.
day at the
She's got some help now.
yeah, which
Good
she
for
needed.
her.
Yeah, right. I
Yeah,
mean, like
she should.
she needed the help, but I mean, I mean, you're spending money in different ways and different, kind of parts of the organization now.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that LSU has done is that they've caught up pretty quick since Woodward has been on the job.
Yeah,
they felt
they have.
very far behind with Joe Oliva and F. King Alexander's leadership. And I'm not here to dump on those guys. It was just they were in over their head. They didn't understand the responsibility of the job. And now, I mean, even with President Tate, I mean, a lot of the conversations that people are having, both publicly and behind closed doors, President Tate's a pretty impressive guy. I mean, with the way that he leads and his forward thinking. I know that, I've talked to Will Wade about this. I've talked to Kim Mulkey about this. Obviously, Scott and I have talked about it a lot.
You're braiding each other's hair.
A couple glasses of wine.
But I have heard him,
Rosé.
talk about
Relief med. That would be awesome.
a little back porch on a Sunday afternoon.
Scott, did you see those aliens?
What's your thoughts on UFOs, Scotty?
About UFOs.
You in or you out? Because I'm a big ET guy.
Yeah.
I can get you in.
I can get you out.
Yeah, I got a couple more bracelets.
Already got tickets to the plane.
That's right.
Right? Did you hear about that crash in Clinton?
You ever been on a Gravitron?
Exactly. That's what I
You're gonna
want
love
to
my
know.
interview.
Do you go upside down on the Gravitron?
Oh.
Have you ever been to the Upside Down?
Ooh, we have.
I wonder if he's watching on Netflix.
What?
We should have asked him that question. What's he watching on Netflix?
Yeah.
That should be a question for everyone that comes in here.
What are you
I would
streaming?
be interested to know.
What have you been watching lately?
Yeah.
That is a good question.
That
I
is a
What
good
mean, I guess that's
question.
kind of like your old,
Call in and tell us what you're watching.
like what radio station is your car on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think
Like-
that happens anymore.
No, I don't.
What disc
That's
is
what
in
I'm
your
saying.
CD changer?
Yeah, what are you streaming?
Yeah, what you streaming?
I was trying to explain to Sophie how there were CD changers in the trunk of your car. Y'all don't remember this, but do you remember that? Do you remember people that had CD changers in the trunk of their car? And you would have to load your CDs in the trunk of your car.
The 6 disc.
And then control it from inside the
Yes.
car. And that was it. Those
And
were
it
the
sounded like
6.
there was a body in the trunk
Yes.
and the CD player was changing.
Yes.
Yes.
My mom had one in her like glove compartment.
Yeah, they had those too.
She had a Honda with it in a glove compartment.
Yeah. Good
So I
times.
do know about it.
Louis Caro, Jordy, any idea on what will go down for basketball? You think Woodward has an idea or a inside track on this? I do. I think that Woodward and Mark Emmert's relationship, at some point, you had to get some inside information on something, right? I mean, you can't be in-laws and not be chasing, like having a glass of wine over dinner, over the holidays and be like, Mark, what's up, man?
What are we doing?
What do we need to do here? We're trying to stay as much out of trouble as possible. What can help you guys out? They probably just said, look, man, we want that renegade you got as a basketball coach. You just deal with Will Wade, and I'll make everything go away. I'm speculating very much. But it really would surprise me. It wouldn't shock me, but it would surprise me if LSU basketball was hit with more penalties. Like, big penalties.
What do you know, Jordy?
Something. If I'm saying that they were to be penalized, a scholarship, maybe over the next 2 years, maybe 2 scholarships over the next 2 years, and a suspension for I don't even know, because everybody's gone. I'm looking at the Bruce Pearl situation over at Auburn. Bruce Pearl had a couple of assistants arrested on campus, doors kicked in, FBI, handcuffed, led out of the building into a squad car and taken downtown.
I cannot imagine. It's so scary.
2 of them.
I know.
Not just one.
It's
2
crazy.
of them.
He's just doing my job.
And
My coach just got arrested.
And he got suspended for a game in December, and they took a scholarship away from him. You know what I mean? Everybody that was associated with Will Wade's LSU basketball program is gone. Everybody. Even the leadership. Everybody from Eddie Nunez to Joe Oliva to F. King Alexander, everybody is vanished. They're gone. And I think ultimately that's what the NCAA wanted, because they got embarrassed by Wade. Wade kind of showed them up. He was on a wiretap. He was speaking about some stuff that seemed shady and gray, and the FBI looked like the NCAA looked like they, were as incompetent as we all think they are. And for whatever reason, they went on a crusade to get Wade. And they got him. And I think LSU may serve I don't think that there'll be any postseason ban, which to me would be the worst case scenario. I think if they banned LSU from postseason play, that would suck. Mm-hmm. That would be terrible. You take a scholarship away and you do something in the middle of December, move on. The damage is done, right? They wanted Wade. Wade's out. You got a new coach. You got a team together. Move forward. I really think that is going to be the repercussions of what LSU basketball has gone through the last 5 years. All of the bad PR, all of the attention, all of the, showing up on the road to the dressed up students, all that stuff. Gone.
Yeah, we got a voice.
All right. Have a call. Don't have a take. Don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hang on.
Plug him in. If you could ask Scott Woodward any question without any repercussions, what would you ask? If he's like, no, obviously, he won't get mad.
Hello. That's a good question. Let me think about it.
Hello.
Why? What would you ask?
Oh, this man is live. Hello.
What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello.
Hello. I heard him.
I heard him too.
Coward.
Panic.
Get nervous?
Coward.
Panicked.
Jeff and Kenner said he left us a voicemail if you want to do that.
Hashtag mailbag. How do you think the atmosphere will be for the LSU Southern? I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I really
it will
do.
be.
It's going to be a day.
I think it's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be
I think
fun.
that it is going to be a great day for the community to come together and experience something that they never have. Mm-hmm. They really have never had a chance to bring North Baton Rouge to South Baton Rouge, go to a great venue in the city that everybody can experience and watch both of their teams play. Like, both fan bases can watch both of their teams play in Baton Rouge, and the biggest venue, the best college football venue in the state, and all of the shiny parts will be on display. Like, I mean, it'll be beautiful to see Southern's baby blues in Tiger Stadium. It will be great to see LSU playing against Southern in that stadium. The tailgating, the atmosphere before is going to be electric. The halftime show, really and truly to me, is going to be the attraction.
Yeah.
Like, it is going to be must-watch football. I mean, like, it's going to be the piece that pulls me in. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the part that I am most curious. I don't care who plays quarterback for LSU. I'm not curious about anything that LSU could do that week that I would figure out anything about their football team. I'm interested in watching Southern play in Tiger Stadium, but more than anything, I want to see the Human Jukebox play live. Mm-hmm. I mean, because if you've never done it, I've covered two. I've covered two. Why can't I remember the name of the game?
Bayou Classics.
The Bayou Classic. I've covered two of the Bayou Classics in the Dome, and had a chance to watch Southern and Grambling's band play live. And it is, if you've never seen it, you don't even know what you're missing.
Did you go to the Battle of the Bands?
Huh?
Did you go to the Battle of the
I've
Bands?
never been to the Battle of the Bands.
Ooh,
I've never been to Battle of the Bands.
Somebody's phone.
But I've also seen I've seen Edna Carr play. I've seen Glen Oaks play. Mm-hmm. I've seen Woodlawn play. I mean, I've seen schools that have, like, prideful bands that, I mean, like, if you've never seen Carr play football, bro, their band is a home field advantage. Like, they are like the 12th man. I mean, not even a home field advantage. Like, they'll come into your stadium and drown you out. Yes.
That's awesome.
I mean, the brass that they hit you with.
I watched them play in the Dome one year, and they just...
Oh, bro, in the Dome, it's like,
screaming
and
in
it's
there.
a megaphone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, their run out, the way they come out the locker
Yeah,
room.
that's awesome.
One seed.
That's what I said. This is a high school.
They win
Yeah,
7
it's
games a
crazy.
year before it even kicks off.
Oh, yeah.
They win 7 games on their schedule just by the other team watching them run out thinking, Jesus Christ.
Get down.
I don't
Like,
yeah.
you know what, Coach? My ankle's fucked. I'm out.
Pull the hammy.
I ain't playing tonight, man.
Man, I got a chemistry
I ain't
test on
playing. I
Monday.
ain't playing.
Pull the hammy,
You know
walk
what?
into the bus.
I don't love football. I don't like it this much. You know what I mean?
Sorry,
Like,
Coach.
I'm out.
And you know who does? All of
I'm
them.
out.
I can tell y'all there's a whole committee planning events for the whole week from the day we get back from New Orleans through the whole week. There's
I'm
a
sure.
committee planning citywide events.
What, for the Bayou Classic?
For the Southern
Southern.
LSU.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
There
a
should
whole-
be.
It's a whole
There should
committee
be.
of things. There's gonna be so many different activities for families, students, all kinds of different things. And then Saturday, like, just get there early is the best advice I can
Yeah,
give you because it's gonna
for
look
sure.
like Garth Brooks all over.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right. So-
Well, they should have, and I'd imagine that there are people that would take note. Like, look at that
I would
night.
hope that they started. a
Like,
new
man,
concept.
that is
That would
something
be
that you can.
ridiculous.
I mean, I don't know how many people can make that happen. What Tiger Stadium looked like that night of Garth Brooks, but if you weren't there, like, I mean, that was LSU Alabama on steroids.
I was walking from class that Friday, and a guy stopped me on campus at like noon. I was like, "Where's like,
Garth?
Yeah, where's Garth at?" I'm like,
God damn it.
This
bro.
where Pistol Pete played.
Yeah. I'm like
This Cow Palace.
I was like, the concert doesn't start until like 6.
Yeah, bro.
And he's like, I'm
It's
just
tomorrow
wondering.
night, bro.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just wondering. I just want to know how long it takes to get from my house to here. That's all. I just came early.
Yeah.
He was clocking it. He was timing
Had
it.
to.
I
was like-
Is that the stadium?
Baby, we're gonna have to wait about 5:15, all right?
No, bro, that's the moon.
Yeah. Wait, this is where the game's at? This is where it's at? All right.
225-229 Rove Camara 229-7741. Have a take, don't suck.
People are trying to call. We got to
Just
answer.
got 2 calls. Hold up. I got some voicemails.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Maybe voicemail is the way to go.
Concerned about this
Oh, hold up.
NIL
Start it
stuff.
over and turn it up, please.
I mean, Jordy, I'm concerned about this NIL stuff. I mean,
Is this Scott?
it's almost like the pro football play. I mean, free agency and people transferring and
the money. My God. And LSU don't seem to have the financial resources.
What's going on with the sound? I can't hear
Somebody's
this
calling.
guy.
Somebody's calling.
Let's answer it. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Zachary.
All right. What's your name?
My name Ryan.
Ryan from Zachary. Have a take, don't suck. What you got?
Well, I just wanted to ask a question. I wanted to ask what Mr. Jordy thought about something.
Hit me. What you got?
Well, I'm a fan. I've been watching for years, like you guys have, and they had a pretty big recruiting weekend, and they had a bunch of guys from out of state, and I just was just interested in his take, as if he thought that it to me it just kind of felt like some of the past teams that always had a few players from out of state that most of the players from Louisiana are the key players, but we've always had a few from out of state that made a big impact. And I just wanted to know which ones that he thought could possibly be some of those players that, really stepped in and made an impact in the upcoming years.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the call. Thank you for listening. I think we talked a little bit about this last week on, look, man, the nucleus of LSU's team has to be from Louisiana. You can look up every championship run, and the nucleus of all of those squads have been from the state. You've always had outside influences, whether it's been Brandon LaFell or Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? Like, pick the one that you wanna bring in. But there's always been that one big-time player. I think that the weekend that LSU had this past weekend, where they brought in like Ashton Stamps from Rummel, who's a DB from New Orleans, 3-star guy, but you've seen his recruitment really start to pick up. But then when you look at what they did outside of the area, and look, I'm big on guarding the state, get Louisiana first, and then build your class outside of that. But if you can go into other states and you can take, states' best players, like LSU did over the weekend. Jackson Howard's the number one player in Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't have any football. I get it that they don't have the traditional football, players, high school programs that Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia do. But if you can go in and take somebody's number one player, who was it? Tayshawn Bowers a few years ago, the big stand-up defensive end who was out of New Jersey. Mm-hmm. He was the number one player out of New Jersey. That recruiting cycle came down here. Took him a while. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To catch on, but by his senior season, he was a problem coming off the edge. I mean, you look at this guy, Jackson Howard from Minnesota, right? Like, I mean, he looks like an SEC football player. His physique, his style, the way he plays. You look at a guy like Joshua Mickens. Mickens is the number one player in the state of Indiana. All right, like Indiana football. You don't think of football when you think Indiana. You think basketball, right? But, I mean, you go in there and you take the top player who's a rush defensive end. When you watch the film, man, that guy looks like a SEC caliber type recruit, prospect. And LSU's able to get number one player in Minnesota, number one player in Indiana. Deshaun Womack, who we spoke to yesterday, a highly rated player in the state of Maryland. Deron Reed, who's a top flight player in the state of Georgia. I get going out and getting these elite players from around the country, and I think LSU has the brand to shop it nationally. But yes, I do believe that your core has to be from Louisiana. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Am I on?
You're on, man. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Jordy, Jeff and Kenner.
Jeff and Kenner. Good
hey guys,
morning, buddy.
Good
How you
morning.
doing?
Good morning. Hey, I left a voicemail earlier, and I'll repeat what I said. We are entering a golden era of LSU sports. I don't think there's any doubt about that with McMahon, Mulkey, Kelly, Jay Johnson. Which of those sports, though? Here's the question: which of those sports will win their first national championship?
I think it's going to be Mulkey.
I do too.
I really do.
And that could be as easy as next year.
It could be. She could win it next year. I mean, the team that she had. Jeff, you there?
I'm there.
Okay, yeah, I think it'll be. Thank you for calling as always, man. Thank you for listening. I really do think it's going to be Kim Mulkey. I think she's, first off, I don't mean this disparagingly in any way, but the competition level in women's college basketball, there's only about 4 or 5 teams every year that are really high-level competitive. Mm-hmm. There's different teams that are coming in every year. Arizona's making a run. Like, Arizona looks like a team that's going to be, they're going to be tough. Tennessee kind of feels like they're trying to make their way back, right? LSU feels like they're elbowing their way up to the table that can compete with South Carolina, UConn, and the heavy hitters of the sport. I mean, after that, it would be like Cinderella that would win. Women's college basketball. It's always the usual suspects that are there. Baylor. Baylor's starting to slide. LSU the stock line on Baylor's kind of sinking. The stock line on LSU is going vertical. Why? Well, you stole their coach. That stuff matters. And I think that, her personality, the way that she's recruiting, the caliber of athletes that they have on campus, man. From Angel Reese to to Flaugier to, even like the walk-on Besselman.
Yeah.
I hear the way that they talk about her. She's not a walk-on.
No.
She's not considered to be a walk-on in their eyes. And you want to talk about somebody who has stretched their wings and nationally, extended the brand. Jay Johnson's done an incredible job of that. McMahon's done a flawless job at that. Brian Kelly, I don't know if anybody's done it better than Mulkey. LSU women's basketball is everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
It's everywhere you look. There is some type of shirt, dry fit. Somebody's rocking an LSU women's basketball gear. It's got the buzz to it. Mm-hmm. And I think that all of them will be successful. Jay Johnson might win it next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking, Jacques was in here. A lot of polls have LSU baseball preseason number 1. They seem like they're a sexy pick to be kind of the choice to a team to watch, maybe a team to bet on, a good future bet.
Absolutely. I did it last year. I'll do it again. But it seems like they're, because they have, the way that people are talking about it, seems like they made the most noise in the college baseball offseason, so everybody's kind of taking note of what they've done. So that's probably why you'll see them ranked very highly in the national polls or whatever that come out, just because they've been the loudest team in the portal. It's like, God, every time you look around, LSU's doing something.
Yeah. And Dylan Cruz.
Yeah. And then you got Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan that on Team USA. Everywhere you turn.
He hit one out of Charlotte 2 days ago.
He did that. It still
has
hasn't
not landed yet, bro.
The way that sounded off the wooden bat, everybody in the crowd went, oh God. He has to go back to college?
That thing was 450 feet.
All of it.
That ballpark in Charlotte is beautiful.
I've seen it. I just saw that one highlight, and all I saw was heads
I watched a little bit of you could catch the MLB was
streaming it,
kind of popping in on it.
But you talk about
Cruz first team, all last team. By the way.
Oh yeah,
that ass is
yes.
Hi.
It looks like a statue.
He's got an ass.
Looks like a statue. It looks almost sculpted.
But if you see him in regular clothes, you wouldn't realize. He just looks like a regular dude. Yeah.
Well, the baseball pan is a great highlighter of the ass.
Right. It's great for him.
Yeah.
You should just wear.
But he can't hide that ass in public.
Coach, I'm telling you.
What's he wear? Sweatpants?
Sweatpants. Yeah. Big sweatpants.
Okay.
Gray sweatpants.
No.
Dylan. He should be rocking yoga pants.
Yeah. Just keep wearing baseball pants.
Yeah, right.
Look, I look great in them.
Yo, D. Crew, turn around for me one time, cuz.
I did notice the ass. I had a class
on Cruz.
Yeah, he wore shorts one time, and I said, "I'm sniff your chair when you get up."
Right. You mind grabbing that pen for me?
Weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Sniff your chair. Sniff it again next class too.
Whoa, Stewie letting us in.
Yes. This man's not studying.
I don't like that.
A little after hours, Stewie.
Yeah. Sniff your
Is
chair.
somebody else on there? Did somebody else call?
No.
Have a take, don't suck. 225-229-7741. 225-229-7741 is the phone number. Have a take, don't suck. Give us a call. Also taking your mailbag questions inside of the chat. If you have a mailbag question, jump inside. But we're about to sign out of here. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. Daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones, our friends over at Edward Jones. Get in touch with Daniel Newman. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com is where you can follow him. He's traveling right now. Let him help.
Give him a call.
We called him yesterday.
Atlantic
Can we
Northeast.
What?
Atlanta Northeast.
Oh, okay. Is that Alpharetta?
Out in the ocean?
Have a take, don't suck. Cool. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Robert from Georgia calling. Thanks for taking the call.
Absolutely, Georgia.
Living with all these Georgia Bulldogs over here, seeing the spring game. This is a little off topic, but I'm just wondering if anybody's ever going to tell the story of what happened with Eric Gilbert and why he actually left. That's all I wanted to ask about.
Thank you, Bobby. Is that Alpharetta you're in?
No, Smyrna, actually, northwest of Atlanta.
All right, baby. We'll be there next week. We'll be there in 2 weeks for SEC Media Days. Thank you for calling. The Arik Gilbert story is crazy. Obviously, Gilbert went through some personal stuff here that, look, man, put the puzzle pieces together. He was battling some off the field stuff. Some personal stuff that he was going through that prohibited him from going on the field, from getting on the field. What was happening during his freshman season. Obviously, he made the choice late in the year. It looked like, I think from the public, it looked like he made the choice not to play. He couldn't play. He was in a mental state that, look, football was way down the list of priorities when Arik Gilbert was here. And I think he showed up to LSU. And you gotta kind of be careful on this stuff because, look, there's a lot of medical history here. There's some things that, he was battling mentally when he showed up to LSU that, quite frankly, LSU didn't know the full story. Is that on Gilbert or is that on LSU? I'm not here to debate that. I don't know. You can make that up for your own. I know that recruiting is a thorough process. You know what I mean? I know that when you're recruiting people, especially of Arik Gilbert's talent level, you're trying to find an advantage on beating out Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Jimbo Fisher, Dabo Sweeney. Some of the best recruiters in the world are going after this guy, and you've got to win the recruitment. So you're trying to find any angle that'll give you an advantage. So I'd imagine that through that, thorough recruitment, people are learning a lot about the prospect. So do I buy that LSU didn't know the full story on Gilbert when they recruit? Maybe. It's tough to believe just because of how deep you got to climb into a player of that caliber and learn and recruit and relationship build and talk to people that, are wide-ranging around him. Girlfriend, sister, brother, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, teacher, coach, trainer, everybody you got to talk to. So, at some point, you're going to realize, this is what we're dealing with. When he showed up to LSU, shit went haywire on him. Mentally, off the field. Stuff that he was dealing with. Some stuff that he was battling. And football was not a priority. It was, I think that, for a while there, they turned into life-saving mode on the kid. Hey, look, forget catching slants. Get your life right. And LSU really stepped up and helped out. Not helped. They did their part. They did what they were supposed to do in that situation. Kid had pledged to them. They were on a full scholarship. These were the resources at his disposal, and LSU applied them to Gilbert. Now, there was not a lot of support around Gilbert that was giving him good advice, right? There was not a lot of people that he could resource that he trusted. So when he put his name in the portal, he committed to Florida, he committed to Georgia, he came back to LSU during that time. It kind of gives you an idea of the nature of the situation, right? It felt like, and really ultimately what it was that you had a mentally unstable teenager making real life choices and not being equipped to make those choices at the time. And what happened was, once he was able to, get past the substance part, get to a mental spot where he was right, that's when he came back to LSU. And I contend, and I will say always, and people can argue this with me, and people can debate this with me, and I don't have any strong, firm, concrete knowledge, but I know the game enough and talk to enough people around LSU that were on that staff at the time, people that were heavily involved with Arik Gilbert, guys like Kevin Falk. You know what I mean? That Falk ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? he got too much money in the bank. He got too many rings on his finger. He ain't gonna lie to you about stuff like that. He's paid his dues. Was that Kirby Smart had that deal worked up the whole time behind the scenes of getting him academically qualified at LSU, and just when he upped and left overnight and got to Georgia, and then by the just some like magical happenstance, he's academically eligible. To me, that wasn't a coincidence. That stuff was worked out behind the scenes, and I think you could argue what makes Kirby Smart great at his job. But it's also kind of an inline of the dirty ways of college football and recruiting. He was never coming back to LSU when he was on LSU's campus his second semester of his freshman year. He was using LSU to get academically qualified. Good move on him if he was trying to go play football at Georgia, because that's ultimately what's happened. Now it seems like, in talking to people around Gilbert's situation, is that he seems like he's right. It seems like he's kind of in a good place mentally, physically, academically, and, football's now a priority again. And that's a scary scenario for the SEC in college football, because when it all shakes out and you're just evaluating the football player. We're not evaluating the player, the kid. We're just talking about the football player, not the personality, not the academic standing, not what's happened in his personal life. The football player. He's a top 3 pick. He's Derek Stingley from a physical standpoint. Just physical. That's the only comparison I'm making with those two. Physically, when those two get off the bus, that's a pro. That's a pro. That's what Arik Gilbert is. I mean, you saw like little hints of it in the first couple of weeks. I can't believe he dropped that ball against Missouri still.
I mean, they threw it to him 25 times in a row. He's bound to drop one.
But you would have seen him like in the open running.
Which is, you never really got to see it.
You never really got to see that happen. But
that Missouri game, you could tell this guy's special.
Oh, he's special, man.
And now you go to Georgia, who had a freshman tight end last year that was a difference maker. They have Darnell Washington, who's also a tank at tight end.
Well, I mean, they missed on Gilbert and they signed the number 2 tight end in the country. And they still have him. And now they've got the big kid out of California that was the MVP of the national championship game, Bowers.
Bowers,
yeah. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. They got 3 tight ends.
3
game changers.
All-pro tight ends.
I must say, because me and Eric are really close back from high school.
Was that a fair assessment?
Yeah, what Jordy has said is true. And then also, not to give Georgia credit, but when he did get to Georgia, they did make sure that, like, he got taken care of mentally before anything, because, like you said, it's obvious that there were off-the-field things that he was going to and he was unstable, but they really did make sure he got taken care of. And I think it showed kind of in the spring game, the way that he played, that he's more comfortable and he's in
a great place. And look, man, anybody that pulls for college football, anybody that is a human being, you're pulling for the kid. You're pulling for the person, and it looks like the person is right. He's going to be fun as hell to watch play football. It sucks that he's not doing it in an LSU uniform and playing in Baton Rouge. But he is, and like, he'll pull you to the TV. Like, he'll pull you to watch because he's that good, right? So, I mean, I think Arik Gilbert's about to bust out. I think that he's about to be exactly who we thought he was going to be when he showed up to Baton Rouge. He just had to battle a lot of stuff. And let me say this real quick from LSU standpoint and what Brian Kelly has done from a recruiting standpoint that they needed to clean up. And then we got to get out of here. We got a meeting at 9:30 that we got to get to. One thing that LSU had to get right immediately, and still doing so and making up a lot of ground, is that they had to get their 40-year pitch better. And people may say, what do you mean? LSU had gotten a reputation within recruiting of not taking care of their guys after their football career was over, whether it was pro or college. And that was something that was really like reverberating around college football. Like, I think Brian Kelly and his staff knew it when they showed up. Like, they had recruited almost against it, right? Like, hey, LSU says they care about you, but look at all their guys that can't get jobs or that are looking for jobs and they won't take care of, have mismanaged their finances, don't have a good relationship with the program, are not around in the community, not setting them up for life after football. And it doesn't matter if you're Leonard Fournette or if you're a guy like T-Bob Hebert, who just played 4 years, started, got an SEC championship, played in a national championship, and, just is now a part of the community, lives in Baton Rouge, and can use his LSU football player cachet to, give him advantages in the market, whether it be in sales pitches as a radio guy or whether it be getting a meal for he and his kid when they step out, whatever it may be, right? LSU had not had the plan put together that they could sell to what they call the 40-year plan, right? Like I think when you hear college recruiters say, it's not a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision. Well, when LSU was pitching that, their 40-year decision was falling flat after their time and eligibility had run up at LSU, and all they could do was help the football team. And, within the recruiting world, like I just said, every piece matters. Every message is, measured. That's the type of stuff where you can lose a guy. And one of the eye-opening parts for LSU on this, the biggest eye-opener, was that their deputy athletic director has a top 10 player in the country. Verge Alsbury's son, Jaden Alsbury, has college offers from everybody who is anybody in college football. So he's heard and sat and been on the campus and sat through Zoom calls with every head coach in the country, every administrator in the country, every supervisor in the country that is in charge of making these pitches and claims. And over the last 3 years, the executive level has had their eyes open to how far they're behind in that stuff. Because Verge has had a front row seat to listening to Ohio State's pitch, Michigan's pitch, Georgia's pitch, Alabama's pitch, Texas A&M's pitch, Florida's pitch, Tennessee. Everybody who's anybody in college football wants Jaden Alsbury. So he's going through the process. His older son, Austin Alsbury, is on Auburn's campus. Nationally recruited guy. So they've had the opportunity to see that stuff up close. And like when they go to, like on Jaden Alsbury's Michigan visit, you know who his host was? Desmond Howard. Not to say that LSU doesn't have that power to bring back that time, but Desmond Howard the whole time is telling Jaden Alsbury how Michigan is and look, Desmond Howard doesn't need any support from Michigan after football. The guy's a very successful media member. He's successful in his life after football, right? I mean, we can all agree on that. He doesn't need Michigan as much as Michigan needs him, right? But to have Desmond Howard pitching to Jaden Alsbury the 40-year plan and it playing out, you're looking at it, right? I'm sure for Jaden Alsbury's visit to LSU, his host was probably like Greg Brooks or a current member of the team, which is powerful in itself because you're able to kind of like identify and relate to and show the guy what life as an LSU football player is really like, right? But at schools that they've also visited, like Michigan was able to, pitch to Alsbury, a guy like Desmond Howard, who's having a successful life after football, and Michigan's been there the entire time to support him in anything that he's ever needed. If he didn't have that job, he'd be a fundraiser at Michigan. He'd be somebody that Michigan would employ, right? A lot like a guy like Justin Vincent, right? Like there's not more Justin Vincents. It was a great move for LSU football to bring Kevin Falk back. Like just from a almost appearance standpoint, when you can walk in and say, hey, this is maybe the most popular living LSU football player in the history of the program. And he's also the running backs coach. And now that he's not the running backs coach, he's still in a role where Verge is his mentor. Like Verge still deals with Kevin Falk, does business with Kevin Falk every day. That's great for LSU football because Kevin Falk can go tell, Noah Kane, John Emery, whoever they're recruiting. You know, who's our guy at Liberty?
Caleb Jackson.
Caleb Jackson. Caleb, you're from Baton Rouge. You want to go to LSU? Come do 4 years, be an All-American, be a first-round, second-round pick, go have a 6 to 8 year NFL career. When you come back, you've got this job waiting on you, paying you 6 figures with benefits. You get perks from the state. You get all this stuff. And you're the former LSU football player. John Emery is here to host you on your you know what I mean? Like, that stuff goes millions and millions of miles.
When they brought K. Falk to staff, he was assisting behind T-Rob and with the running backs, but really he was doing like a lot of on-campus recruiting. So like I feel like once you make that switch, you kind of noticed it too. And then we lost guys like Jeff Martin as well in the department, but K. Falk played a major role, like you said, in mentorship. Like he walked our campus, went to the same classes.
Relatable.
He went to the same classes that these students, some of the same professors are still teaching some of
100%.
the same classes to this
100%.
day. So I remember when I would be going to class and like I had class with Ty and John, K. Falk and Jeff would be sitting on the golf cart or riding to class to make sure that everybody was going to class. But even in the facility, K. Falk brought something different to the table because he could relate to every single body, from coaches to players on every level. So
think in 8 or 9 years, and I'm not saying you have to give full-time jobs to, but think if like Terrace Marshall and Jamar Chase were showing you around if you were a wide receiver in 10 years at LSU. You know what I mean? It'd be as, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it wouldn't be as powerful as Kayshawn showing you around. Like, let's say, you know what I mean? Like, or Odell. You know what I mean? But for Odell to come back in 15 years, be showing the number one wide receiver around LSU and having the message of, yeah, I was a dog when I was here. I got all of the perks. I got all the stuff. I did all the things, bro. I was a first-round pick. But what means more to me now that I got my kids, I got my family, is that LSU's still supporting me. Not that Odell's going to need the money, but there are players that will, right? I mean, I look at Jack Besh's uncle, Blaine Besh, 2003 national champ, scored a touchdown on that squad. You know, he was the placeholder. He was the holder on the field goal team. Had a great high school career. Loves LSU. His older brother played at LSU. Went on to play in the league. His younger cousin, his nephew, is Jack Besh, who's is probably the best out of all of them. But Blaine Besh still lives in this community. He still works for a corporation and a company that is tied to LSU. He goes out there, he pushes the LSU message every day. And if you don't think 5 to 10 times a week somebody doesn't ask him for a story about Michael Clayton, Matt Malk, Justin Vincent, to just, break the barrier of a sales call or a conversation starter or something that makes everybody in the room comfortable, right? I mean, like, that is Blaine Besh being able, he can go back to LSU. I'm sure he told his nephew, Jack, like, bro,
I'm set for life.
They'll take care of you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even, and I don't mean this disparagingly, like, Blaine Besh is a stud in ancient athletes. He's a great, but as far as the LSU football fraternity is concerned, he'd be easily forgotten.
Right.
Right? But it goes a long way to have guys like that being taken care of. Justin Vincent is a great example of somebody that you can say, they need more of those success stories. They need more of that message to hit compared to what Alabama, like Sean Alexander. Sean Alexander was the MVP of the Super Bowl, MVP of the league. He was a first-round pick by the Seattle Seahawks, was an Alabama All-American, still employed at Alabama. You go to Alabama, you get shown around by Sean Alexander. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just, those are the type of stories that in recruiting, we don't think of that stuff. When I heard that the first time, I was like, wow, it's crazy you can lose out on a recruit on that type of pitch, right? But when you get to that type of player, like Jaden Alsbury, and for the record, I think that LSU's not going to get Jaden Alsbury. I don't. And it's not because LSU didn't recruit him. I think that they're just dealing with some circumstances that are out of their control. Jaden Alsbury grew up on the campus. He's had open access to the facility and to the institution since he was 3 years old. I mean, he's got, at his birthday party when he was 10, Tyrann Mathieu was lighting the candles. You know what I mean? He's had the LSU football experience his whole life. If he wants to break away and go somewhere else, it won't be hard to understand. But one thing that Jaden Alsbury's recruitment has done to the LSU community is that it's given one of its top officials a front row seat to how everybody else is doing it. And not to say that LSU's legions behind everybody else, but in this soul factor, in this message delivery, they can't compare. And I think that's one thing that Brian Kelly has brought in that has been, a big kind of boost to the recruiting pitch. And maybe that's why their message is hitting nationally. A little bit more solid right now than it is. Not to say that they're swinging and missing locally, but they're having a lot of success nationally right now. So it's something to pay attention to. The 40-year plan compared to the 4-year plan. Obviously, you got to have a 4-year plan for these guys, right? I mean, what's it going to look like on the field? Where are you going to play me? What's it going to work out? What's the depth? How does it fit in? All that stuff makes a lot of sense. Those are questions you got to ask. But if you're able to answer the 40-year pitch in that conversation when they're 17, 18 years old, and then see it play out with a guy that's giving you the pitch, had to be powerful for Desmond Howard to be speaking to Jaden Alsbury on Michigan's campus. And I'm sure that LSU has those scenarios where Justin Vincent's answering questions to people on campus. Vincent, as celebrated as a football player as this community has. MVP of the SEC, national championship game, freshman, 1,000-yard, all of the accolades. JV's got him. He's still around LSU, living off the brand. Them appreciating what he gave to them by, giving back to him. It's powerful stuff, man. It's all the stuff that matters in recruiting that we may not think about, take for granted, not, put a lot of stock in. But hopefully you enjoyed today's show. We appreciate you being involved. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. Make sure and tell people that Scott Woodward was here this morning so they can go back and find it if they missed it. If you have not subscribed, hit the subscription button and hit that bell. That way you know when anything comes out the Jordy Culotta Show. Tonight, mic'd up, 6 o'clock. Probably originate from here. But we're going new studio with mic'd up. But it'll probably go from here.
It's a work day. It's a work day.
But otherwise, we'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Like, share, comment. Have a great day.